right? I really don't want it to happen.
I have to ask the question. BGS.
Mm-hmm.
When we talking about when we talk in context of the conversation now, I mean, could how can I say, I want to phrase it right, with everything that's going on with everything going on with this COVID stuff, right? And we both I'm sure you talked about Agenda 21 and the 2030 plan and all the things that's going
It had
on.
nothing to do with it.
Well, yeah, right. Well, some people say some things is conspiracy.
It had nothing to do with it.
Okay, so what's your opinion then? What's your opinion with this automation and depopulation?
It's not depopulation.
Okay.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. I got feedback from somebody.
Yeah.
Excuse you.
You got to turn your YouTube down, fam.
Oh yeah. Basically, does it? Okay. There's two things, right? If they want to depopulate the United States, why would you kill two depopulation policies, right? One is abortion. Why would we try to kill abortion trying to depopulate the United States? Does that make sense?
I mean, I'm just getting your opinion based off.
No, man. I'm asking you a question.
I don't disagree with that part of it. No, I don't disagree.
Okay. Would you? Why are you trying to import kids like 40,000, 50,000 kids a year from Latin America if you're trying to depopulate?
Right.
I'm asking.
No, I'm just listening. I'm with you. I'm with you. I want to put that out there because it's questions that's being asked.
Now, questions can be asked, but how many people actually do research?
Right.
Why would people do the opposite?
Yeah, I talked about, and the reason why I asked that because I talked about all of those different things, but then I also got into because it's a global thing. Like COVID is a global thing.
Okay.
So, from your opinion, do you think that COVID is something?
No. Did you hear what Rand Paul's argument?
He's got to fix that. I can't hear. I can't understand.
Yeah. Just speak yourself.
I'm gonna get on him. I'm gonna get on him.
You have a George. You have feedback.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Mute yourself, George. Mute yourself. Okay. If people really, instead of just picking up conspiracies and dropping conspiracies, actually research the doggone thing, right? Actually research it. Okay.
Research, what's that?
Yeah, I know. Basically, Rand Paul is actually in trouble going at Fauci. What did Rand Paul say on basically in Congress, in committee, on camera? Okay, asking Fauci about the gain of function program, right? And Rand Paul asked him on camera in the Senate hearing and asked him about the more deadlier form of SARS-CoV-2, right? The more deadly form of SARS-CoV-2 is like 20 to 30 times more lethal than the one we got. He asked him about that. Why did he ask him about that? Because he read the papers. Okay, he's trying to introduce that into the record.
He's also a medical doctor.
He's also, but the thing is, he's a medical doctor. But he's part of the Senate. I forget what they call it. Subcommittee that deals with information, right? He's on one of those Senate subcommittees that have to read these kind of documents. He has access to them, right?
Right.
So he knows what the gain of function program is. He sees all the papers that we can't see, right? So how can we put it out there? So if they want to depopulate the United States or the world, how can we get one? We get one that's less than 5% effective if it's killing people instead of the one that it had.
When there's a virus that can kill you in 48 hours.
A virus that can kill, it could have killed 30 million Americans in the first year. So if they want to depopulate the United States, how come they didn't release that one and just let it run?
Well, the population theories are not just for the United States; it's for the whole world.
Why? How come countries lock down their borders to protect their populations if they want them?
Even now,
even now.
BGS, we're talking about Rand Paul.
Talking about Rand Paul, yeah.
And guess what I just found out? Guess what I just found out, BGS? I just got through watching Democracy Now! The first 10 minutes of the headlines, news reports. This motherfucker has got stock. He just bought stock 18 months before all that pandemic stuff was coming out. in one of these medical firms that's doing the drug stuff that they're giving people too. And he had 18, he waited 18 days, he been knowing this and read about it, and he had 18 months to report this to the Senate people that he knew about it. He had bought stock in this and he been holding back. So not only is he fucked up, him and Fauci's fucked up. So don't think Ron Paul was innocent neither.
I'm not saying what Rand Paul is innocent. I'm saying what he said on the Senate floor that proves the theory. You don't have to guess. They say it on the Senate floor. This is something that they've been that's been reported. If you really want to follow conspiracy, that's why I hate half-assed conspiracy theorists. Right? They don't do their homework. You just take what somebody says and run with it. Agenda 21. How long? It's been around for a very long time, right?
Right.
You're already depopulating. They don't have to do anything, right? You've already probably peaked as far as population, right? Or what is the fertility rate around the world? The average fertility rate around the world is 1.4. That's depopulation already. You don't have to do anything.
And they just said the census came out today, and they said as of right now, Caucasians for the first time are under 60%. 60% in population. They're declining like a mug.
They can't import anymore. There are no more white people to import. That's why.
There's a report that came out from the census that the demographics have changed so much in the United States since 2010, and that under 18 white people are no longer the majority.
Yeah,
I've had teachers tell me that they're no longer the majority.
Yeah, that's been that way for the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, but it's really changed a lot in the past 10 years, and normally you don't see that type of change happen that fast.
It hasn't happened that fast. He
told us it was going to go this way. He told us this.
The white women have been at below replacement since 1970.
They're not having children.
They're not having children. In fact, before Korea, the lowest fertility rate on the planet was Italy at 1.2. I've been looking at this stuff for like the last 10 years, man.
Non-white Latinos, it's really going to be a difference if it continues like this.
A lot of the Latin countries that they're importing from are barely at replacement. They really don't have any people to give away.
Non-white Latinos are the number one ethnic group in California.
Visually, they said the Latin and the Asian population have exploded through this. That's what the census
said. They're importing people to keep the population stable. Somebody else had a question. I don't want to turn this into a BGS hangout.
Okay? Yeah, no. Because when y'all talking about white people not producing, and it wasn't just America though. That was a global thing. But I just feel like that they mix. There's a lot of mix.
Think.
No.
We don't do fees.
No, what I'm saying is a lot of mixed information come out because you'll read that part, but then you also read, when you're doing your notes about when they talk about controlling the population,
George, nigga, man, nigga, all right.
Go ahead, let me say what I'm saying though. I ain't really know what I'm about to say.
Okay, all right, go ahead, man.
When they're on there talking about the population control in Africa, right? Population control in Africa, because of the sickness and all these different things. But then they're talking about the advent of automation and population. When you see now where they got the rise of homosexuality out in public mainstream, you can read everything and you can see it's different arguments coming from different parts, and you got to be able to decipher all through it because one part is saying another and another part is saying another.
I get that. Okay, well, what I want to say, I'm gonna reiterate, nigga, man. You from the street, man.
Right.
Is it what they talk about or what they read or what they actually do on the street?
It's what they're doing, and that's all.
And in other words, you look at what they do and not what they say.
Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm saying. Because they say a bunch of lies.
Why is Europe importing people if they want to depopulate?
No, I get it.
What they're
why
eliminating the middle class are going to be rich people, and you need and you're always going to need servants.
I mean, basically, if you have a lot of old people, and if you don't import people, what you're going to have is Japan all over the world. But you're going to have Europe and the United States will look like Japan. You're going to have a very small young workforce and a lot of old people at the top. A lot of people over 50. Is that the ideal shape that you want for an economy?
No, I'm looking at what they're doing.
I ask you a question, sir. Is that the ideal shape for an
No,
economy?
no. I'm
Yes.
answering it by saying I'm looking at what they're doing.
Okay. In other words, you read the information.
Right.
Basically, what they do on the street is what's probably the most accurate answer, right?
Yeah.
They're
So
importing.
that's what I'm saying.
They're important putting this all together now.
So in other words, if you want to depopulate the United States, right? Would you allow abortion or restrict abortion?
If you want,
If you want to depopulate, you'd restrict.
Yeah.
You would actually allow abortion because you're killing
You
babies.
allow it to keep going. You allow it. Yeah. You
keep going. So why is it in the Senate? Why is it not in the Senate going to the Supreme Court with the heartbeat bill to restrict abortion?
Because a lot of
those are the religious zealots.
No, they're not.
They're not religious zealots.
No, they're not.
They're using that as their shield.
If white women fertility rate is 1.4, 1.3, and not having enough babies, what's the first thing that you would do? How you get more babies just off the rip?
With one eliminate abortion.
You eliminate abortion. Come on, class.
Shit.
Well, I mean, France and Russia is actually paying women now to have more children.
I mean, is what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is when we do the research, you're hearing different arguments from different sides. Like right now, they're saying that by 2050, if they don't control the population of Africa, they can go to 4 billion people.
It will go to 4 billion people.
Right. So now when I hear that, right, and I'm hearing that white people are not producing.
Okay.
The reason why they're talking depopulation because they don't want the numbers of us to be so big. So now they cause confusion all through all the research. You got to know what you're reading.
I know what I'm reading.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general.
I know, but you asked me a question, right? You asked me a question about Agenda 21 and depopulation. Are you asking about Agenda 21 for Africa, or are you talking about all over the globe?
I would say a global thing, but I understand what they're doing in Africa. But then the question, the reason why I asked you, because they're talking about, that they're not producing babies. They know that we are, and they're trying to restrict us from producing babies. In Africa.
On the continent, okay. What is the best way around the world to stop to restrict women from having babies?
Make them infertile.
Nope.
What's that?
Infrastructure, post-industrial infrastructure.
Gotcha.
Every place it goes, guess what happens to the fertility rate? It drops.
Yeah, it drops. I got
Korea in 1960 fertility rate per woman was 6.3. Guess what it is now? At or below 1.
North Korea or South Korea?
South Korea. It's below 1. Why is that? What changed? They automated, they industrialized, and we came from industrial to post-industrial. That's all over the world. Go look at the pyramid. Look at the population pyramid. Go look at it and see where they are in the industrial cycle.
Well, you just made my point. You made my point of what I said about automation and depopulation. And they talked about what automation would do to the population as time go on. But first they talked about controlling the population of Africa, and that was a red flag because I said, well, wait a minute, y'all are not producing babies. Why y'all trying to control our population?
Because Africa is the what's the biggest competitor to Europe? Africa. So you want your rivals to have more population, better infrastructure, and technology. Guess what's going to happen to you if they do?
I get it.
They'll overrun you.
They'll overrun you.
Bigger influence.
So
the way that they have it set up is that they're importing poor people or displaced people, like Syrians, displaced because of war, and they're gonna enter into a service class as the middle class erodes.
Yeah,
and
they're replacing
the top 5% are going to continue to thrive.
Yeah,
and do well, and everyone else is going to have to fend for themselves.
There's a the great game is global, and they do a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons. The thing is that if you You know what I want people in this space, because Mike can tell you, man. I'm a stickler, man. You got to do your research. You got to do your reading and do your research.
Right.
You just can't take a narrative and just go with it.
You got to study all of it.
You got to study all of it. Agenda 21 is a counter narrative to what they're doing, right? So basically, at the end of the day, it's not what they have proposed. Anybody can write up a narrative. Anybody can write up an agenda. The thing is does the environment that you're under allow for that plan to actually go forward? Sometimes it does, and most time it does not.
So let me ask then, with everything that we said, and we talked about other groups, because we know around the world there's groups of competing men. And
it's competing populations. Men and women have to work together. It's not competing men. Men and women have to work together.
Okay, I'll take that. If we know that Africa and parts of South America is the most minerally rich places in the world, and we look at those places, they're dilapidated and down because the people that's in power now don't want them to have access to the resources to be able to compete. That would be an agenda in itself, right?
It would be, except for one thing. Guess who has an opposite agenda? China.
Okay.
China has an opposite agenda.
That's what I was about to say.
Did Africa develop before China came in with infrastructure and technology?
Nope.
You have an opposite agenda. Dude, I've been talking about this for 20 years.
That's what I was about to say. You've got powerful forces in the world
that have their own interests
that are working against each other.
Yes.
Yeah, China has its own interests separate from the European powers that have their own interests in that.
Yes, they want to take control.
But then I'll have to ask the question then for the black man globally, what the hell is his interest?
You're not even on the map.
Right.
Okay.
Not part of the discussion.
The thing is that, okay, and I said this before, man.
Right.
I said this a long time. Mike can verify. I've been saying this for like 6 or 7 years. I said this 15 years ago on another online and another platform. Okay. If China, the only way China was actually going to be able to arise and take its rightful place, right? Against what the United States is trying to do, is to actually develop Africa. That's the risk that they had to take. Okay, Africa probably will rise and become dominant in the 22nd century, if not sooner, because of technology, because infrastructure, because of population, because of a young population.
They can't stop the population.
They can't. The thing is, you mix resources, population, technology, and resource and infrastructure all together. Guess what? You get a dominant society. That's what's going to happen.
So China's trying to get in where they fit in.
China's doing what they need to do to actually further their plan. Okay, and that was part of it. They thought long. Trust and believe, man. We were in on this in 2006, 2007, right? Okay, and China had to make a decision. Do you want to buy into Africa, or you want to let the United States stymie you? They decided to buy into Africa.
So you don't remember, BGO? I only asked you because we had the same conversation 3 years ago. Me and you on my George Macon WhatsApp.
So we had the conversation,
right?
You see this, you're looking at this stuff play out in real time. What's the problem?
No problem at all. I just, it's just other people listening, so I just came and brought it up.
I know, but the thing is, there's other people listening, and there's other people listening that don't like what I'm saying. All right. So I don't repeat it that often.
Well, I tell people all the time. What I've learned, it's not about. I don't care if people don't like what I'm saying. Just look at.
I know. Well, the thing is, can those people put you in an orange jumpsuit though?
Oh yeah, well,
or rubber.
I am not talking about people on the street, man.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. No, I get it. But I always ask. When we're doing the research, and you can see what's going on. Like when I give you an example. When you have Warren Buffett and what's that other guy? Bill Gates, and they have their nonprofits and all their organizations, and they're talking about artificial food in Africa on the ground and all these different things. And I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at, okay, where is the African man with his own agenda separate from them, sitting there with power?
What did Mike just say? They're not ready yet.
I get it. That's all I'm saying.
You know where he is. He's corrupted and eating
No, he's in school right now.
No.
That's where
But
he
the
is.
leaders,
But the leaders are corrupt. Yeah.
The
of course.
leaders have stopped buying in on it. Go look at what they said recently to Europe. They told them to bounce.
Well, they killed the Tanzanian
It
president.
doesn't matter. They're not buying.
They're taking
Europe
their
is too weak.
resources back, George.
They're taking the resources back.
They already
You hear
started
about
with they already
Hold
started
on,
with,
hold on, AB. Let Mike get in.
Yeah, they already started taking their artifacts back from the museums, which is a
I
big
covered that. Yeah.
profit generator for Europe, for Britain and France. So they're starting that process very slow. And
Right.
what they're trying to do, I mean, it's inevitable that Africa is going to surpass them at some point. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if.
They can't stop population control. Right? They can't stop it. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, African women are going to reproduce children regardless. But the thing is, 7 of the fastest growing economies are coming out of Africa right now.
Yes.
And so when you have that combined with China making major investments, China is the largest investor in Africa right now. The United States is like 1/4 of what China invests into it. The biggest issue is that the United States doesn't trust black men representing America over in Africa in terms of doing business on behalf of the United States.
Hey, real quick, Mike, when you say that, because I'm sorry I want to cut you off, but I want to add, because I did a live stream and BGS, tell me what your opinion is on this. I did a live stream where I said, we talked about reparations. I said, you know, a way that the white people in America, the government could pay reparations back? They need to train up a bunch of African Americans and send us back over there with our own agenda for us to build. Help Africa against China.
We said that back in 2005.
Right? Yeah.
They're not going to do it. In fact, a lot of your military. In fact, Colin Powell said the exact same thing back in 2003.
Why they won't do it?
What did Mike just say?
Sorry, Mike, I cut you off too.
What did you just say? Say it again, Mike, for the people in the back.
Yeah, they don't trust you enough to represent the United States on behalf of their interests. And so I was at the U.S. Africa Summit last week, and those are the sort of conversations that they were having before, but now they're starting to change that conversation. So you're starting to see a lot more black people get involved, black Americans get involved in the business aspect of U.S. commerce in Africa. And so they're trying to figure out inroads, but it's too late. It's far too late. You know, China already they've been there for the last 25 to 30 years now, and so
and massively the last since 2003, massively the last 17 years.
India has been there just as long.
No,
they haven't made those investments.
No, they haven't made those investments.
Not those investments like China. So y'all don't think that it's possible, though. So you guys don't think that it's possible.
Individually, yes. Will the United States sponsor you? No.
Right, because no, but that's on them.
Well, it is on them, and the thing is that now that Biden is there because he's trying to clean up the mess. Because they should have got on this, like I said, 2003, 2004, right? When AFRICOM first was initiated, they should have sent black soldiers and black businessmen over there to do business on the continent before the Chinese made major inroads. They didn't do it. And China said, "Thank you very much. We'll take this.
we'll do it."
Yeah, because remember when Obama went over there to Kenya, and they basically opened them with welcome with open arms, and he basically spat in their face by pushing his own agenda by blaming African leaders for the failings of the continent and not blaming the Europeans for their colonial past. And so they basically told them to go take a hike, and they went to China and got $400 billion of investment.
Yeah, go back and look at. I think it's 2006, the Lisbon Conference, right? For the EU, right? When you have 50 African countries just pick up and walk out and say the deal's not good enough. It's been that way, man. They've been slowly but surely pulling away.
Somebody said climate control might hit Africa hard, though.
Yeah, it is, because you can see all the crops are drying up and stuff like that. That's why Israel is peddling, some of their agricultural tech to actually help fertilize the farms, so that they can actually plant crops.
They need to stop fighting each other. They need a massive reclamation project. They need desalinization pumps and desalinization pipes, and actually rewater in that desert, man. They need to do that ASAP, because it's not just here, man. I actually showed a picture of pulled up Google Maps. I showed a picture of the globe, man. even in the United States, 40% of the United States itself is desert already. Okay. Half of Africa is desert, right? If you keep letting this happen, guess what's going to happen to the population of the
Hey,
globe?
where's this coming?
It's gonna die. Huh?
Is this coming from a natural occurrence?
Climate change, sir.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is it coming from a natural occurrence? Is it coming from what?
Both.
What they're doing?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
What about this GMO stuff that they put in the ground that a lot of African leaders was arguing against about messing their soil up?
At some point, you got crops that will not grow on the soil that you have. If you want to feed people, what do you need to do? 8 billion people. You're gonna have to start altering the crops. You're gonna have to start altering the food to feed people. At the end of the day, if there's no food, guess what you're gonna eat?
So, but is these world governments with their agenda, are they creating the problems and then are they firing the gun and creating the bandages at the same time?
If you have competing forces on both sides. Okay?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
There is no monolith even at the top. Okay, you got competing forces on both sides, and sometimes the forces that are negative win because it's a profit factor.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Some of these people are shooting you with the gun and they come with the bandages.
The thing is, okay, you know what? The thing is, you guys gonna have to stop thinking that the white man is God. Okay, He's not.
I don't
Yes,
know why
you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you
false.
do.
That's false. No, it don't.
Yes, you do.
I said if you notice when I'm talking, I said global agenda. It's not just the white man need help. It's not just the white man.
George, listen to me, George.
Go ahead. No, but I want you to put that narrative on me.
George, listen to me. No, I'm listening to what you're saying. 80% of what white people do is fails. They're not perfect. Okay. Yep. They set up agendas all the time that fail. Okay, and you guys think that there's some oligarchy that's perfect that actually do this stuff on a global scale and make this shit work, and it's not. They fuck up.
The gynocracy would not exist.
Just people don't believe that COVID-19 is a fuck up. They think it's on purpose, and it's not.
Look at what happened with
I don't know who that's for, because if this thing is a global thing, it's not just no white man. I don't even know. I mean, when you're talking to me, I don't even believe in no white man. Because a white man is something that they put in our heads to believe. These are different people that work together, man.
George, what I'm saying is you're basically repeating that the white man is perfect. They set up the synthesis, the problem, and they set up the opposition and
but I never said the white.
You just said that.
No, it doesn't matter. No, what I'm talking about is when we read in the literature, we're looking at certain things that's happening. It's not you implement the white man in there. What I'm talking is different countries that work together.
Well, who are you talking about then? When you said that they create a problem and give you.
No, I asked the question when we talked about the climate control, and I said, are certain groups creating certain things?
No.
And you said your response was there's different groups that's fighting. It's a good guy and a bad guy. Sometimes they're competing. That's all I was saying.
And in other words, they're doing processes that make money. That's causing climate change, right? Mm-hmm. Now they don't want to stop doing the process, not because they're trying to make the desert dry up. They're doing it because the process they're using is making money. They don't want to give it up. They don't want to lose
That's all I was saying, though. You went to. I'm not talking
no, sir. You're trying to think they're trying to make the desert dry up on purpose so they can have a solution. That's not true.
They found water in the desert in Libya. Remember? That's how Gaddafi was able to irrigate his crops with China. It was the Chinese who actually pumped the water out of the desert.
Pumped the water out, and the thing is, to actually defeat Libya, guess what they had to do? They had to blow up the infrastructure.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's, you see, to your point, that the global leaders or the elite. Macron, the French president, went down to China to speak with Xi Jinping. I think was it last year or the year before that, before the pandemic, to talk about ECOWAS or the West African corridor, where all the French states, colonial states are. Yeah. Because he was worried that China was going to come in there and usurp them because they have mining contracts in these countries, and basically they own them for 99 years.
What do you want to do?
Macron thought that he can negotiate with Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping told him go take a hike. It's over.
Yeah. It's over. They're begging. Macron actually went down to ECOWAS and they tried to negotiate with them to actually redo some of these deals, and ECOWAS told him to do what? Take a hike. We don't need you.
Macron said it a few years ago. White supremacy is over.
Yeah, he did. He said that about 4 years ago.
And he's a banker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is over.
And guess who told him before that in 2015? George Soros.
Yeah, it's been over a long time. It's just saying.
Guess who also said it recently? Who's the president of your United States? Biden said it when he talked to Biden said it was in that so-called secret private call to the civil rights leaders.
Yeah,
he said it's over. I said it was over back in 2005. It's over.
He pretty much told me we need to beg the Latinos for jobs.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
But if you guys want to keep the narrative up, go ahead, man. I'm tired of talking about it.
Well, a lot of it is still in the minds of people. Because a lot of people.
Yeah, if y'all want to keep the white man alive like that, go ahead, man.
So let me ask you this.
I ain't gonna do it.
So, white supremacy is on the decline, on its way to being over.
Let me finish my thought. I want to know how you define white supremacy before we go forward.
The powers that be.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
Mostly the ones that call the shots.
Okay.
Being the majority white people. But do you think that much is going to change? Because there's still classism, and money still runs everything.
But whose hands is it going to be in?
What difference would it make if they've got the same agenda?
In other words, is it an advantage if the people whose hands it in look more like you?
Possibly. But when you've got the power and the power and the control of currency and money, you're able to put people into place that may look. You could put Clarence Thomases all over the place.
Well, then white supremacy doesn't make any. It has no effect. Then it doesn't matter.
No. White supremacy can continue and be maintained under brown and yellow faces. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, not really.
Well, we'll see.
So why? If that's the case, why are the white people trying to suppress China and have been for the last 25 years?
Well, China's a threat. China's a threat to our way of life.
No, if they're yellow, if they're white puppets in yellow faces, why would they suppress them instead of enhance them?
They aren't white puppets, but they aren't necessarily white puppets. But they do business, and they own a big part of the United States, and they have interest in the United States surviving because of their investments.
Okay, that's why
the United States, and the dollar is still the most stable currency
for now,
and the markets, the United States markets, are still the most stable place to put your money for now. For now. Guess
going forward, guess where it's going to be, because China just switched over to the digital yuan, right, which is eliminating most human hands from the banking system.
So you're saying we're going to Chinese supremacy now, from white supremacy to Chinese supremacy?
Yes, we are.
They actually don't talk about it in a supremacist term. If you watch Chinese media, the way they talk about it is because they said this the other day that
they're not.
Hold on, George. Hold on.
I'm sorry, bro.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, what they were saying last week on CGTN was basically Einar Tigwan, I think that's his name, basically said that the West is in decline. But if you read Chinese media in their language and translate into English, they say that the white man is in decline. And so what they're identifying is that they're waiting for an imminent collapse at some point, maybe in the next 20 years. But for now, like Putin said the other day, as long as the dollar is strong, we will continue to use it. And so they're using the United States for what they can until they can get their agenda put together. Once their blockchain system is in place, their digital dollar, the digital yuan is in place, like BGS was just saying. Once that's all stabilized and functional, they'll just cut the West off. But that's why you see all these warships passing through the South China Sea, because they're going to practice a blockade against the Chinese merchant shipping. Yeah. I think that is a disaster.
Waiting to happen. Yeah.
Basically, what that's going on, basically, is you're threatening to get better terms when you surrender.
Yeah, I'm about to say you can't have no type of supremacy, nothing, if you ain't got an intact military, man. Navy, different things to protect your interests. So
China has all that.
Hold on.
That's why I said the only people you can have, the only thing that you can have now that will be coming after white supremacy would be Chinese supremacy. Nobody else has that type of power to go and enforce certain things.
You already have Chinese supremacy. You just don't realize it.
Right, but they're not going to use that term supremacy because of what is labeled with. They're going to come a different way.
The white people don't use white supremacy.
The Chinese use talking points of ending white supremacy to help unite all the people of color over the world.
Yeah.
And they will oppress them and treat them just like they treat their own.
I'm gonna give you an assignment, George. Go look at Kissinger's book on China.
Okay.
Hey, it's probably in audible in audio form.
What's happening now has been taking place it's been worked on for a lot of years.
Actually, that started. But the thing is, what really kicked it off is reunification of China and Russia back in 1994. That's what kicked everything off. That's what kicked over the hornet's nest.
One of my uncles was in the military for like 26 years, and he said something crazy. And I think it's crazy, but I'll say it to y'all, see what y'all think. He said to me about a month ago, he said, if you think us under this white man was vicious, wait till the Chinese get into full power.
Right.
He said,
we don't know.
Their people,
we don't know.
And that's what I don't know, but I wanted to just play that. He said, you see how they treat their own people?
We don't know.
Yeah, but they don't have a history of that, George.
No, they don't.
One
time. No, they don't. They don't
have a history of global destroying people like the Europeans.
No.
They don't.
No, they need Africa to be propped up and stabilized so that they can actually move their operations over there. A lot of their manufacturing and stuff is starting to be shifted over into the Sinai and East Africa. For a reason.
In fact, though, a long time ago, man, this had to be, 2008 or something like that. We used to have on my old program. We used to have a CCP, a member that actually used to monitor us. Yeah, every night it would actually pop up, and he asked us, "What you're trying to do?" I said the same step that the Chinese took to actually become dominant in manufacturing. Do the same thing for the continent. That's what they're doing.
You guys don't think China has a repressive policies? There's no. You don't have an opinion. You don't have an opinion there.
I mean, who's more repressive?
You don't go against the grain.
Who's more repressive, white people globally, or the Chinese?
White people. It's not even close.
Well, I would answer that by saying white people now, because the other groups haven't had that type of power to be that repressive. We don't know what the Chinese would do once they get into power.
The Chinese led the world in activity for 1,800 years. They have never done that in their history.
No. That part I understand. But when you say led the world, like I'm talking about Europe, the European nations from South America, all throughout Africa. The Chinese haven't been controlling none of that. We got a chance to see how the Europeans have acted and what they've done. We haven't seen the Chinese control that much land.
So what are you drawing upon if you think the Chinese are going to do all that?
No, I don't know if they were. That's all I'm saying. We don't know.
What are we drawing upon? We're
drawing upon white supremacy.
No. Let them finish. Yeah, that's what they're drawing upon.
No, we don't. I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't know.
That's what Beasley's drawing upon. Do you think the Chinese are white people?
No. The way they treat their own people, the way their society is.
Okay.
You don't have free speech, free thought.
No.
Any of that.
Okay.
They introduced capitalism. I've done business with Chinese people in China.
Okay.
And they say we can't talk now, or I was like, what happened? The money didn't come. The wire didn't come. The government shut the banks down, and I can't talk about it. All right.
So is America building homes and buildings for its homeless population?
Nope.
Nope.
Which has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I'm talking about Chinese and and just the way that they have a authoritarian government and the way that they treat people.
Okay.
Yeah, but they
have their foot on the people's necks.
Wait a minute. What do you think that America has on your neck?
It's different. We're wage slaves here. We're able to have opinions and thoughts and speak them out.
So in other words, do you see the United States that 30% of the United States is desert? That they're actually doing something about it?
Where would you rather live? Where would you rather live? As a regular person.
As a regular person
in China, the United States.
As a black person, probably in China.
Okay.
So let me ask a question then. With everything that we talked about, when we looked at World War II and how at that time France and other countries, they didn't want capitalism coming into their countries, and you know.
What you talking about? What you talking about? World War II? Where do you think capitalism started?
No, I get it. What I'm saying was during World War II, when they was hiring these different mafia groups to fight against these other groups, these communism and capitalism was basically fighting each other. And when you study socialism, capitalism, and they were all fighting against each other. But the question that I'm asking is, with everything that's falling apart now, what's the next fight going to be? Because now you're going to have to implement some type of government system.
Technocratic. It's going to be It's going to be a technocratic fights.
And the reason why I'm saying that, BJ, is because a lot of people study. Oh, look at World War I, look at World War II, and then I ask the question: well, what was they really fighting for?
Money.
Money and control of government. So now, when you study General Patton going into Italy. And now, why do they go in and hire some of these mafia guys?
Okay, you if you want to understand World War I and World War II, you got to go all the way back to Napoleon.
Okay,
and the Germans fought the French 4 times, right?
Right.
Napoleon Wars, the Franco-German Wars in the 1870s, World War I and World War II are all fought between France and Germany for control of Europe.
And which systems that they was going to have set in place.
The thing is, who's going to control the system?
Right. So that's why I'm asking.
The systems are the same.
Right, but this is why I'm at. So let me ask. So when it comes to like communism, socialism, and all those isms, are they basically really the same?
Okay. You need to go back and study it. Why does socialism exist?
That's a question.
Yes.
Well, to me, socialism exists to make the people believe that they're taken care of. I mean, it's all, to me, all of it is an illusion.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, back when the Industrial Revolution first started, right? Your kids, and your wife had to work in a factory for 16, 17 hours a day, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's capitalism, right?
Yes.
Okay, is that what you want for the rest of your life?
No.
For you, your kids, and your grandkids, right?
No.
What's the counter to that?
You will say socialism. So that
socialism.
Everybody
what was the initial socialist slogan?
I'm not sure.
Workers unite.
Workers of the world unite.
Okay.
Why was that?
Karl Marx organizing.
Yeah.
Engels brought Karl Marx from Germany to England to solve that problem. The problem actually exists. The letter actually already existed before Karl Marx was even born. It was an ongoing problem. He brought Karl Marx because he understood socialism to solve this particular problem. You don't believe socialism? Go look at Investopedia and ask: is the United States a capitalist country? Right? Mm-hmm. They're gonna say it's a mixed economy. 50% what? Capitalism. 50% what? Socialism. Okay. Right. Do you like 8-hour work days? Do you like 16-hour work day? No, you like 8-hour work days?
No. It's better than the work. It's better than the work before that.
Do you like it? Do you like unemployment?
Yes.
Do you like Social Security?
Do you like police?
Do you like paid vacation?
All those things are set in place. I get it.
Do you like having weekends off?
Right. But the reason why
do you like public schools, public libraries, public works, public police departments? That's socialism, sir.
All under socialist thought, right? So, but and that's one reason why I asked the question that I asked was when we look at them fighting now with new systems coming in, what is the next fight going to be? That's why I asked that. Where's the fight going to be now?
You're going to get more socialism because that's what works. The thing is that if you're going to replace people with automation, replace people with robots, bots, and automated systems, what are you going to do with them? That's the fight. What are you going to do with them?
Right.
What you going to do with them?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for your answer. What are you going to do with them?
What you want to do with all these robots and the people?
No, what are you going to do with the people that the robots replace?
Yeah, I don't have no answer for that.
And that's the next fight, sir.
Yeah, but that's why I asked, because I don't have no answer for it. I don't know.
Well, that's the next fight, sir. That's the next fight. You're asking on. Mike, how many years have we gone over this stuff?
Oh man, at least since Obama was in office, we're talking at least 6 or 7 now.
Yes,
yeah.
6 or 7
since
years.
Blog Talk.
Where have y'all been?
No, I watched the channel and I researched and I got like I said, I'm asking the questions. I'm asking the questions because I'm talking to you. But we talk about this all the time too. But I'm just asking questions.
So where have you been?
I've been right here. I've been in my states talking about it.
So in other words, you're asking me, and you've been watching the stuff. You know what I've said. We know what Mike has said. They did what 3 years going over this stuff.
Yeah.
Where y'all been?
Well, George, we can use Philly. You're from Philly, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Philly was once an industrialized epic center of Pennsylvania, along with Pittsburgh. What happened?
They took all the jobs out of it.
Deindustrialization. And what happened to all those workers?
It turned into Camden, New Jersey.
They hanging out on the corner.
They shipped all those jobs.
They turned into St. Louis. They turned into shit.
They shipped all the jobs to where? To a lower cost country.
I'll tell you what happened to them though, Mike. They start consuming each other.
Right.
That's what happened.
So now you answer BGS's question as to where the next fight is going to be.
Yeah.
And why you need a universal basic income.
Yeah. Which everybody thought was a dumb idea, 6 years ago? Even 3 years ago. BGS, you're a communist, BGS. And that'll never happen, BGS. It's a capitalist country, man. People ain't gonna go for that. Okay. All right.
Never say never.
Yeah, all right. You don't know what you're talking about, BGS. Okay.
Now you got Gavin Newsom right out there in California talking about every Californian or some kind of pilot project that they're going to have for UBI at $100 million or something like that the last couple of weeks.
BGS white supremacy ain't going nowhere, BGS.
It'll
never happen, BGS.
He may not be governor long enough to put that into play.
Yeah, well, you know.
But if they're thinking in that direction, it's because they know that something's coming.
Yeah, BGS socialism, but socialism is evil until they give you a rent moratorium and give you stimulus checks and pay your unemployment insurance.
I think that most people that say white supremacy ain't going nowhere, they don't study history. They coming from their thought process is that white people been in power since the beginning of man. Kingdoms rise and fall, man, all the time.
No, not just the beginning of man.
What I'm saying is, but that's how people talk when they talk about this white man. They think that since man stood upright, that the white man been in charge. No, kingdoms rise and fall, man.
You know who predicted the fall of white supremacy back in the 60s?
Who was that?
It was Carol Quigley.
Carol Quigley?
Tragedy and Hope. He predicted the fall of white supremacy. I actually played it on one of my first channel. Actually played it. Quigley saying it in 1975. Quigley said it. Why did you write Tragedy and Hope? Because it was he had hope that white supremacy or Western civilization, as it's fixated, would actually survive. He says it's actually going to go down the tubes. He said that back in 1976. That's why he wrote the book in 1965. He predicted the end of white supremacy back then.
Madison Grant talked about it as well.
Okay. Did he talk about it in 1965?
No, he talked about it. He talked about basically in their eugenics and the black genes and all that kind of stuff. He talked
quickly talked about it as a structural civilizational thing. Okay. It's not a collapse. It's not a collapse. Doesn't have to be a collapse. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, do I have to bring all this stuff back and teach a refresher course?
no. All I was
It seems that I have to,
no,
man,
no.
because they keep asking. Yeah, because you know what frustrates me, George? I
Uh,
come on here, I talk about something, risk my freedom and risk my well being by bringing this stuff out, man. Y'all don't y'all still in the same place. Just kind of frustrates me.
No good
I
deed
know
goes
good goes
unpunished.
unpunished. I know.
You know where I disagree with you?
Go ahead.
Because I could see things for what they are. Automation's coming in. If white supremacy changes, it's going to change into the hands of people of color that are going to have the same policies, the same policies and the same core beliefs as the white supremacists.
They
I'm just
can't
about
have
white.
this. They can't
Yes,
have the same policies because
it's where capital's located. It's where
it
capital's located.
but cap okay. They can't have the same policies.
A person's skin tone doesn't determine their ideology. Just like when you felt that more blacks in the police department would
I didn't.
lessen.
Yeah, it would.
Let me finish my thought. Okay, that it would lessen police brutality.
Yes.
I think differently. I think that uh, black cops trade in their blackness and become blue, just like the white cops.
Why? Okay. Why do cops? Why do black cops do that? Because I talked to many black cops, and it was
Because
like
that's the
over the past
culture.
30 years.
That's the culture.
No, that's not
It's
the
a
culture.
job.
Okay. The thing is, why do they have to trade? Why do they have to conform? Because the police force is actually white, mostly white, still, even in a
It's
black city.
it's the muscle of white supremacy. It's the enforcement arm. It's the enforcement arm to keep everything
I,
intact.
okay, when I talk to LAPD, I talk
Uh-huh.
to cops, and I talk to them over a period of like 35 years. This
Uh-huh.
is what they tell me. How come they can't do certain things is because to keep their jobs, they have to go along to get along, right?
Right.
Because the vast majority of the people on the force are white. If you had a majority black police force, the policing would change. This is out of their mouths.
Well,
Who said the same thing? Officer Charles, who's a police officer.
well,
He says the exact same thing 30 years later. There's a guy, you have Cheryl Dorsey, who says the exact same thing. She was a LAPD officer for like 25 years. She says the same thing. Do you believe them? And they work the job.
I believe what I witnessed and what have I
Okay.
experienced,
Okay.
and I've heard cops speak, and they can be harder on the black population and black folks than even your average white cop. There are they hate the Pookies and the Ray Rays. They hate the Pookies and the Ray Rays because they're not like them. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It might make some difference, but I don't think it makes a difference enough to change things.
But basically, you know what? Every time I ran across a black cop versus a white cop, I always got better treatment. That's me. Whether it's Inglewood, whether it's LAPD, whether it's sheriff, I always got better treatment from a black cop than I did a white cop. Always. That's my experience.
no, that's true. I live in one of the blackest cities in America. That's definitely true. Yeah,
And I go by the information from the people that actually do the job. And the thing is, have we tried an all black police force to see what? Guess what? Killer Mike talked about Atlanta and the majority black police force. Guess what he says? He said what happens in Atlanta doesn't happen in any place else. They don't kill folks in Atlanta. Okay,
it's the
do they
same
arrest them?
for BGS.
Huh? They. This is coming from people in Atlanta that said the cops in Atlanta are different than any place else. They say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like here, you got over like almost just in the city alone, probably 1.8 million people, but the majority of people here black. So
Okay.
you got a lot of white cops, but you don't really have like the black cops here don't really like. Now you don't see on the news where you got very rare in Philly where a unarmed black dude getting shot by the police. It don't happen like that here.
Yeah. What I'm saying, well, yeah, that's true. What I'm saying is, before we can actually say that it doesn't work, we have to at least try it. And people are saying a lot of stuff. A lot of people are saying stuff that haven't tried it.
No, that I definitely agree.
It may work better. It's still part of the larger organization.
I think both of y'all are right, but I think in BGS defense is until we get in positions where we're controlling our own stuff, we don't know, because we know that they control it, but until we get in positions where we control with our own mind, we don't know what the outcome will be.
Well, that's gonna be that's what is what does Charles say? Black people don't want to become police officers.
We don't want to do a lot of stuff because we think our biggest problem, in my opinion, is we think we serve the system every day and going to work, paying taxes, living in cities and everything, but we don't want to be a part of
our biggest problem is we follow the lead of our women. That's our biggest problem. Everything we talk about, if women don't believe in the police force, guess what? We don't have more police.
It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon.
But look at your algorithms. The dudes getting celebrated, or the guy that's the kingpin that did 25 years. Oh, he's a real nigga. He keeps it real. Not the highly educated dude.
Yeah.
It's the street shit.
I'm gonna be real with you though, because some of that is true, but I deal with the elephant in the room that a lot of us don't talk about. When I was young, in the sandbox or running with the kids, most guys get called socially awkward or corny or cornballs by other boys before they get to the girl. Boys set the standards on all levels as to which way girls go.
Where did they learn that from, sir?
They learn it from society, not just
they learn it from their mothers, sir.
I don't fully agree with that.
I know so. I know so, sir.
But I know so too.
No.
Yeah, but mothers are the first teachers of culture.
You know what? And your mother is going to adore you whether you're bad or not. Ooh, that boy's bad. That's my baby. I love him.
Yeah, but
your father, hopefully,
I've seen it in real time, sir.
Stick his foot in your ass. I know friends that I came up with that the first time they got in trouble, their mother and father came pick them up.
That's a different argument.
No, it's not a different argument.
No, it's a very different argument.
No, it's not.
Let me finish. But the second, third, and fourth, and fifth time, these dudes is out stealing cars, that are out, getting into fights, stealing shit, stealing leather coats, robbing people, fuck ups, complete fuck ups. And the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth time that they got out of juvenile hall until they couldn't get out, until they caught them a real case and they're going to send them away to camp or something, it's their mother that always got out. It's the father that was there when they got out to stick a foot in their ass, and they still went back and did what they did. So there's truth to that.
No,
mother let you get away with more.
No, I that's not what I'm saying though. That's not the argument that I'm bringing up to the table. I'm a husband of 16 years, raised 4 children to adulthood. I got it. I'm in the house.
I got 3 grandkids.
I got 5.
I live in the gynocracy, man.
Yeah, I got 5. Well, that's when we get to the gynocracy part of that's a larger conversation that we have. I don't fully disagree with, but what I'm saying,
I know what you did. The thing is, it's been documented over the last 100 years, man. Come on.
Well, then
that's the elephant in the room.
If that's the case, well, then see the 2 different arguments would be. One argument that was brought up when me and you had a conversation 3 years ago. You asked me a specific question.
Okay.
You asked me, and I'll bring it up, and you'll remember when I said it. You said, George, when has the black woman ever belonged to the black man in this country? Yeah. And I paused for a minute because I had to think about that. And I said, damn, you know what? Never.
But guess what? Black women believe that you belong to them.
Okay.
They control you.
But what I'm saying, I get that part of the argument.
Okay. All right.
But what I'm saying is, so all right. So I guess what you're saying to me is, because black boys make fun of other black boys, is the black woman's fault.
And who taught them to make fun of the boys and make fun of not smart people?
Well, when I was around, generations of grown men, we made fun of each other. We set the standards for to me, what I see as to how women viewed us because of what we do to each other.
No.
I mean, I disagree. That's what I see.
Oh, no. Why do you think Yana Van Zant, when she actually examining women and their problems. She doesn't even include the men because this is a matriarchal culture. Would your women lead your culture in half for 100 years, man?
Yeah, I'm not saying, but see, Snuggles, I'm not saying that we don't learn from our mothers. That just makes no sense. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, at the end of the argument, what you're saying is we absolutely have no role. So we have no role into some of the things that our boys do, and I disagree with that. We know that the mothers is the first. Well, we know that the mothers is the first teachers, but we know that the fathers are the example as to how we should do things because we see our father. I was raised by my father. My father didn't have to talk to teach me. I watched him.
Wow.
I watched
who go back and see who sets the agenda for the culture for black people. It's not men, even at the academy. Most of the men in the academy are afraid to talk because the women silence them.
Well, that's part of our destroyed culture with groups of competing men.
So in other words, so in other words, the women set the agenda for the culture. It is what it is. It is what it is. They still do.
So let me ask you a question then, because that part where women, I talked about this today actually on the live stream, where we say, see, you asking stupid questions. Show your face before you talk to me, unreasonable man. Don't ask me how culture is created. Like, come on, that's just. Like,
don't ignore. You're talking to me, man.
No, I know, but I hate.
Don't read the chat. Don't read the chat. You're talking to me.
When we disagree with certain things, we don't got to get ignorant towards it.
And you're talking to me.
Jesus Christ!
I'm not looking at the chat. You're talking to me.
What I'm saying is, we know with me and you had these conversations a couple times, and you know, and I always respect your opinions on certain things. You know, even when we go back and forth, we know what I always say, and what I told you in Cerulean before. Women really have no power. The power comes from men.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, but let me finish my point. I get what you're saying when you say that they do, but what I'm saying is men build societies. Even when the woman has power.
No, they both build society.
Let me finish what I'm saying, so we can get clarity to what I'm saying. Then you can critique it.
All right. Yeah. Make your points and stop adding like 50.
No, I'm just making it. You keep cutting me off.
No. You keep adding points. Make a point.
Gotcha.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, even when a woman has power, she still needs a man to enforce it. So women get their power from other groups of competing men. So even in today's time, other groups of competing men use women to depower other men. So there's what I'm saying is, in societies are built. You're right, by men and women, but men for the most part build and control societies. They put women in them, in societies, you know, to make them better.
Remember the old term, the hand that rocks the cradle?
Yep.
Rules the world. Who trains the children? Women.
Both do. No, you can't can't have both sides of the argument.
All right.
We build societies together and we train the children.
George, go back and read, man.
No, I don't have to go back and read.
Yes, you do. Go back and read
that, bro.
No,
you can't have. Listen, I'm gonna give you men and women build societies, right?
Okay, man. All right, man.
You know what I'm saying is, I'm gonna give you men and women build society, but at the same time, when you're raising a child, the child learns from both, not just the mother.
Who has the strongest connection to the child? The woman, the person who sells that the child's body is made, or the opposite person?
I'm not arguing that aspect of it. You use the hand. What you just said was dismiss men as society. Because my father played no, because I'm not gonna let you do that. My father played a very strong role in the way that I was raised, and me understanding what manhood is. So what I'm saying is, yes, women play a role, but so do men. So when you take the men out of the societal norms, what do boys grow up understanding what duty and legacy is? They're taught that by men.
Who basically, women transfer culture. Women transfer culture, period. Okay? The first 7 years are basically controlled by your mother. Why do you think Freud, when he does psychoanalysis, says what? Tell me about whom? Your father?
Mommy, right.
Your mother.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I understand.
Yes,
No, because
okay, man.
That's
All right.
That's not the argument.
You are disagreeing with it.
No, I'm not. No.
Yes,
You don't. You know what you don't like the fact that I'm saying what you don't like is the fact that I'm saying when you said the term, you said.
Prove
no,
it,
hold on, BGS. You said
no. Prove it. Give me some data, some facts, some empirical.
I'm gonna go back to what you just said.
No. Give me some empirical. I'll give you an empirical.
Let me say what I'm saying.
All right, George. Okay.
Let me say what I'm saying.
I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, let me say what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
When I said men build societies, you said men and women build societies. We also know that men and women create babies. We know the connection that a child has to the mother. But you're speaking as if the father in these societies don't have no say so, no nothing. So everything that we do under the arm of a woman. I disagree with that. I don't care what data you pull out. I'm like nigga to nigga. I'm looking outside. I'm looking at the way we build societies. So I mean,
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but those situations are more the exceptions than the rule.
So these men militaries and the UN and all these different things, women control it, men don't.
They're so big. You know what? A man is usually spending so much time outside of the house working and trying to earn and to provide, and maybe also trying to have a little bit of fun away from the constructs of his family, that he doesn't have any control about. I mean, he doesn't have any control about what's being taught at home. Every question and I was a curious kid,
right?
But just about every question I needed an answer to, I would say 75 or 80% came from my mother. What's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican? What's an abortion? What's this? What's that? Whatever was in the news or whatever was going on.
So who teaches men work ethic, the building things, military things, power and control? Where does he get that from?
We would get that. Hopefully, we'd get that from his father. Some of us had exceptional mothers that taught us.
But for the most part,
no. Some of us had exceptional mothers that taught you how to shake a hand firmly and look somebody in the eye.
No, I get that, but what I'm saying is, in a society, everything that we talked about right now, and power and control, boys learn that from men.
Let me ask you a question, George.
Go ahead.
What society succeeds without the women's agreement?
None. I'm not arguing that, BGS.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, man. Yes, you are.
Why? Because I'm not agreeing with your point? Bullshit. No, I don't. I don't agree with the part of it, but no.
All he's saying, BGS, is that men play a part.
Men play a part. I'm telling you.
He's not saying all. He just said men play a part.
I didn't say all because I'm not saying it the way you're saying it.
And I'm saying for our backward culture, women,
African Americans. You say
interrupting you or what, man?
I just want to get clarity for what you said. I apologize for interrupting you, but you said African Americans, right?
Negroes, okay?
Okay.
Negro culture, which I've documented, is backwards, right?
I agree with you.
So women control the narrative of what goes on in African American culture. Period.
And what did I say, BGS? I agree with that. I said, but that's coming from groups of other competing men. That's creating that.
All right, man. All right. Okay.
We can go back and forth all day.
All right.
You know why I think you guys see it different? From your own personal experience and how you grew up.
Oh, let me ask you, the brother with the LA thing, right? When we look at the Negro people here in America, right, from slavery through Jim Crow to all these things, right? These things was happening under the power of other groups of competing men that was creating this, right?
What do you mean exactly?
Slavery. It wasn't a black woman that was doing it to us or telling a white man, hey, enslave me.
All right, I get what you're saying.
It was coming from other men.
Right.
Okay.
Then when we left that, we went to black codes and Jim Crow and all these things. So what I'm saying is there was always groups of competing men fighting to keep us in the position we are, and they use our women even as a tool. So it's always come from a groups of competing men. That's all I'm saying.
So in other words, if the women agree with it and they keep you in your place, how are you gonna fix it?
Well, the only way you can fix it is the men have to fight and rebel, because when you read King Leopold's letter, what does he say? He says you have to control the niggas with the whip and keep the women in 9 months of suppression.
In other words, what percentage of the population do black men make up?
6%,
yes,
roughly.
So what odds are you going to have to rebelling against this society?
It's not. It won't be a lot, but it goes back to what I'm saying.
What odds?
Hold on. I just said it. I said it won't be good.
So stop, point blank, period. It's not going to happen.
Right, but watch this though. But when you say everything that I just said, right, and then you look at the women, how the women were bred here, right, and you look at our condition as Negro people. The culprit, the problem is not us, the man or the woman. It's the competing men that created the systems that we're in.
The women do not have to agree to go.
No, the women are conditioned under the system. What are you talking about?
The women don't have to agree. So are we conditioned? So what?
Hold on, for BGS, you gotta agree in order to eat and to provide a roof, to do the basics.
Then
you have to grudgingly.
Then the game is over. Stop fighting.
Well, the game, but from that aspect of it, if your fighting class is the males and we represent a small percentage, and we already know that he bred our women and us and conditioned us in this system for his residuals, then we already lost.
We have.
So why blame the woman?
Huh?
Then why blame the woman? Because this guy created it.
You want me to answer, or you gonna keep talking?
No, I just was finishing my point. That's all.
You asked me a question. That's how come I stopped talking. You asked me a
no,
question.
I'm listening, bro. You know we get passionate sometimes.
Who do you think sided with the white women to give over your affirmative action to the rest of the people? Who did that?
Black women.
Listen, go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
Black women.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Black women are complicit in it because it gives them additional power.
Yes.
And
but go back to what we said.
Every relationship you've been in, usually with the black woman, it comes down to power. That's why someone like me, the relationships when they've lasted, they've been with non-black women from other cultures. That's just true.
But it goes. I
don't have to compete for power. I don't have to compete for every decision that's made.
But it goes back to what we talk about, the roles of men and what men do in competing men. So let's read Cecil Rhodes' letters. Let's read P.W. Balker and all these different letters of these so-called, during that time, white supremacy. How do you control niggers?
Those are definitely white supremacists.
Right. Let's read how do you control niggers, right? So now if we know that this stuff was happening from groups of competing men, right? And women women in societies acquiesce to the men that's in power.
Okay.
That's controlling the power, right?
Okay.
If we know for a fact that the Negro people, what happened to us is something unique. What happened to us, and we're bred here. How can you say that the women did this when they created the system that we're in for it to be the way that it was? They sat at a table and said,
I can answer that.
So let me. I want to say, so women don't have agency. They don't have free will.
I don't think none of us do. As Negro people, no.
Then it's over. Then it's over. Stop.
No, because you even said to me,
full stop.
Right.
That's what you believe.
No. I'm going by what you said to me before. BGS. You said to me. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. What did I say?
You said to me because I was giving you this argument, and you said, George, when we was bred here? We was bred here under this system to be the system. So when have we ever been independent of the system to have control of our women? Never. So we know that our women have never belonged to us. They created.
But they're actually helping holding you down.
Watch this. Watch this. Because who competes? Who fights wars for society? The men do. So your biggest enemy is the damn system, not her.
So, but the thing is, you have no power to overturn the system, sir.
So why be mad at her when she's just a victim of it as we are?
Let me answer it.
She's not helping you fight it either, is she?
Let me answer it.
She's not going to help you fight it, BGS.
Well, then it's over, sir.
Dar in the chat. Dar in the chat just read my mind. He said because they're complicit in it. They know what they're doing.
Yes,
I disagree.
Yes, they do.
That part
And you know what? And you're not going to get any further in this conversation.
I'm gonna explain to you why I disagree.
George, hold on a second. George, you've been talking a lot.
Why you think I'm talking, man? Go ahead.
All right, man. All right, man. You know,
you getting all of your feelings. We all talking. Like you try to make it because I'm not just always agreeing
you're
with you.
Talking over me, man. Stop.
You talk over me too. I apologize. We talk over each other.
You got. It's okay for you guys to disagree.
We both talk over each other. I'm not doing it intentionally. Go ahead, bro.
It's all right. It's all right to disagree.
he getting all this.
I'm talking to both of you. It's okay to disagree. You see things different.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, LA, why.
That just shows that you're thinking.
Yeah, no, I respect BGS's mind. I just disagree with him on this.
That's.
I'll say this though. Why I say that they're not all knowing. Most of our women in our societies deal with things, react emotionally to certain things, and they don't know the system because they haven't really been under the foot of the suppression the way black men have. So a lot of us have been forced to study our enemies as men and understand what's going on. Most women react emotionally to certain things, and the men, that competing men, create certain systems where they can benefit from against us. So it's all a game that's being played. So most of these women don't know the game the way we do. So I disagree when they complicit. You say they just complicitly against our man. No, men. I go back to what I said. Women give birth to nations, men build societies, and we work together. But we have never been in a system where we can work together independent of these people. That's been in our way. So I don't have an answer as to how black men come together and get this man out of our way. But at the end of the day, he's been in the middle of the whole thing, regardless of how we want to spin it. That's my opinion, and I'm looking at what I see. The average woman don't know shit about like white supremacy and how it works. Most of us, a lot of us men that read, we do, but these women, man, they go away who can buy them something, who can give them something.
If the demographic changes that happened within the past 10 years, that's dramatic. The changes are dramatic in the past 10 years. If that continues for the next 20, 30 years, it'll be completely different anyway. And 50 years from now, very few of us are going to be here anyway.
Yeah. And I'm not saying this where women are exempt of what's going on. I'm looking at the bigger picture, man. Listen, I was raised by my father. My father, military guy, man. I'm looking at the bigger picture. If we know what happened to us as Negro people here, we know for a fact, and we know that he created this system that we're in and what we're still fighting under. Our biggest enemy is him, not the goddamn woman, because we saying she agreeing with him. No, it's him. Because our women belong to him. What do we provide for our women?
Well, even when you do provide, even when you do things right and provide and try to walk the straight line, you're getting a lot of flack.
Yep, because you don't belong to us.
That you shouldn't get.
I agree, because a lot of because in the system
you should be respected and exalted and accommodated too, and that doesn't happen.
I believe that women are going to
respect and many of these guys, have taken that role and it didn't work, and they see the way that they're disrespected after having broken their back and have done things to make everything comfortable for them and their family. So I understand.
Yeah, I believe that most women, women around the world are going to follow the men that can provide things to make their lifestyle comfortable and protect them. I just look at this us as Negro people here in America and the things that we've experienced historically up until now. We haven't been in that position of power where we can dictate terms without the system being in front of us. We had to go and ask certain groups of men for rights and all that kind of stuff. Like what we've been through here as a people, we're gonna always have conflict and friction with our women because we don't have a nation of our own to be in control. That's just the way it is. I'm looking at what I see.
So how do you explain a Guatemalan family, a man who is not even a U.S. citizen, who comes with 2 nickels that he can rub together, and his wife still respects him?
because in their countries, the men still run the systems as to how they control their women. We was bred here, as BGS will tell you, and we always been separate from each other. We don't have a culture here in America that dictates how we treat each other, how we operating. That's been destroyed.
Did we ever have a culture like that?
I think I would say this. I think after slavery in the South, when we was building cities and all that kind of stuff, we was formulating one. But then that's when they was burning down our cities and forcing us to be dependent upon the system. So even when we had the system, even we wanted to integrate, we didn't want to integrate just because we wanted to be with white folks. Look at the history of what they was doing to us. So they was always forcing ways to weaken the strength of the black man over his family. And this was coming from groups of competing men. So my argument is the women are behaving the way that they are as far as Negro women because of what happened to us. We don't control our women. We never have. She goes in for everything.
I thought the original argument was about calling these guys lames, and the connotation behind it was coming from the source was coming from how women see these type of males.
I think it opened up into all of those things, but it morphed into that. It morphed into all that. But all I'm just saying is I just think that like as us in this country, us and our women, we have never been independent of the system that we've been under to do anything. So for us to just say, well, these women are just, and it like we act like we come out of the same house. We act like we don't got the same damage. Like we perfect and our women are fucked up. I disagree with that.
Okay. I think that
okay. Nothing's gonna get fixed because if things keep going this way, nothing's gonna get fixed. It's gonna get absorbed anyway. It doesn't matter because disease are saying they're not race loyal anymore. They don't want the same deal that we've been getting, so they're ready to bounce and go over the fence. Here's what it is: it's gonna get absorbed. It's okay. Deal with it. If women don't want to. If women don't want to change, basically, when 2 generations become people of color.
Well, I think we've been being absorbed for a while now, regardless of how much we've been bitching. We've been being absorbed.
In other words, it started in 1945, and that's the plan, and they want to do it. And so, if women don't want to change, then just relax and enjoy the ride.
I've seen families in 2 generations, 3 generations go from black to white. And then you watch others; they turn from white to black. Look at the Kardashians.
but that is because I've read I read a couple of papers by this. She's actually a lawyer, a feminist law professor out of Cincinnati, right? And her 2 papers are against the Monahan report. Monahan report says as a matriarchy, we need to reset the family. We need to put the men in front. We need to put the men in masculine agencies so they can actually get jobs, become masculine, become patriarchs, and become heads of their family. So they correct what's going on with the black family, right? Because it's been a matriarchy for far too long. Guess who shut that down?
Oh,
black women.
Yeah, because
it's not what they want.
It usurps their power. They want power.
I played what's his name in 1968. That's why I played the what's his name Darth Vader. What's his name the actor. I played him and played Maya Angelou in 1968, saying the exact same.
James Earl
Jones. Maya Angelou is saying the exact same thing, right? Right on the cusp of civil rights about who runs the family and the black matriarchy. They agreed, okay? They agreed.
I remember when
it's who runs the family.
But BGS,
can I finish?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. It is not up for debate. Why do you think I brought in 4 PhDs to actually confirm what I'm saying? They work in this facility. They work against black female intelligentsia constantly making policy. My brother's keeper, who was he killed by? He wasn't killed by white supremacy. Killed by black women. Okay. It's very difficult to get a single-sex school for boys who would actually fix most of the problem because your women are against it. It is what it is. They run your society. I'm in the conscious community, right? The reason I'm here on YouTube is because who runs the conscious community? Black women. A lot of people that were in ADOS, right?
Run a community, period.
They were in ADOS, right? The ADOS movement, the reparations movement, right? A lot of them got out of it because guess what? They wanted female empowerment inside of ADOS. A lot of guys just left. Okay, they run your community. They run the structure. Okay,
they always have BGS.
Unless you actually address the elephant in the room, nothing's going to get fixed.
But you can't.
Before you take on white supremacy, you got to get the black women on board. When black women are actually on board on civil rights, guess what happened? Shit got done. As soon as they didn't want the shit to get done, guess what they did? They snatched it all back.
But that was strategies of, they always use strategies of how to break us up. Because it was even a period of time before the civil rights movement when Big Mama was still running the show. Even on the plantation, who was the go-to person? Big Mama was. They wasn't putting a man in a position of power to do anything.
Big Mama's running the show now.
So what's the first step before you get to the white man?
First of all, the first step is understanding who's pulling the strings. And when you understand that,
you know who's pulling the string, who's helping them pull the strings.
No, it's
if you don't, if you 80% of your politicians, office holders are black female. Okay?
But this is what I'm trying to say to you, BGS. This is what
all right.
In this system, what they do is they put in this illusion of inclusion shit, these fucking trinkets over our faces to make us believe that we have something, and this is how they keep us divided. So the system has things that they can offer our women. So they create the poverty, they create all the things, the desperation and the trauma that we go through, and then they provide certain things. So what I'm saying is, it's not a one answer thing as to how you fix it. When you go to your women and you look at this as the way that the system is set up, like we come together and make babies, but we still don't get along. Why? It's not just, I'm not going to sit on a panel and just say, well, wait a minute, well, it's just the woman. No, there's certain things that's set in place for it to be that way.
Okay. Do you have the power to actually change what's set in place?
I don't think as men, I don't think that we do, period. Like, I don't know. I don't have all the answers to that.
Well, there's no argument then. It's over.
But I don't think that you do either.
Huh? If we do, of course I do.
But
do all the time.
If you did, if you did, and people that thought like you did, it would be things in motion. It don't mean that we'll be winning. We'll see black men working together.
Let me know when you. Let me know when the pause. Let me know when the pause happens. Okay, I don't want to talk to you.
BGS has vision. He's trying to put things in place now.
Well, he ain't the only one doing that, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
he's the only one
calm down, George, for a second.
He's the only one I knew. And when I figured it out, I was like, so you're trying to make social change and you're willing to have it take 2 or 3 generations to take place? He said, that's what it takes. It might take 40, 60 years for the change to make place.
Dr. Amos Wilson talked about that. And what we had to do. And we had to think things down the line 20, 30, 40 years in advance as to how they attack.
There are policies on the books right now
that
could actually affect change. Guess who does not want the shit to change? That's holding power.
Mm-hmm.
It's holding power right now. Holding power. Okay. Until you address them, nothing's going to change. But if you say we're blaming the women and we can't hold them accountable and it's not their fault, okay.
No, see again, and for a lot of you weak Negroes in the chat, this is what I'm trying to say This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying we can't hold women accountable. Nobody said this, so don't put that in my mouth. Nobody never said that. What I said was the way us as Negro people been bred here, and because I know a lot of y'all listen to BGS and y'all regurgitate, but y'all don't read shit. Read what BGS tell y'all. What I'm saying is we have to understand our position here and how we got here and what they do. And women and the women, because as again, what I said. Hold on, I'm gonna just say this last part. I'm gonna shut up.
Okay.
Even with the white woman, let's look at this white woman. This white woman in America and around the world has watched the conquest of the white man go all around the world, create different ethnic groups and do everything, right? He even didn't give her power. She's always been fighting against him, fighting for rights, fighting for power. The reason why at some point she stays by his side because he provides protection for her. He provides certain things. We're not in a position to do that, and that's why we're in the positions we are with our women. And on top of that, he provides job opportunities and all these other things for our women. So of course he incentivizes them to be that way. So what I'm saying is what I've been saying. Men who build societies create the economic streams and power, and that's how they control the women, man. We're not in those type of positions. So I don't have the answers to how you fix it. It's more complex than just say treason.
You done? You finished?
I'm finished.
Okay. Contrary to what you think or what you believe or what you feel, what you're saying is not accurate.
Okay.
That's why I ask people on the other side of the wall that make policy, what's going on? Why are you being blocked? What's happening? Guess what keeps coming back to me? Black women want to retain power. They like the way things are. They don't want to change it. They want to nest in it. They want their position in it. They want their position next to the white woman in power. That's what they want.
Well, can I ask you a question then?
Go
I
ahead.
want to hear on that part.
Okay. Is it a short question?
It's very, very short. Watch this. Watch this.
Okay.
Everything that you just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got the black man and the black woman. So the black man has his brain, the black woman has her brain.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me why the black woman want that power despite her man. Tell me why. I'm listening.
She's been conditioned to. But if that doesn't change, guess what's not going to change for the black community?
I'm listening to you.
In other words, the white women could not have done what they've done to take your jobs that you fought for, that you burned down 100 cities for, unless the black women were complicit.
Can I ask one more question then? What you said? Because you said the first thing you said was, and what I said was, you said she's been conditioned. And what I said was, because we're not far off and everything, we have disagreements in different parts. You said that she's been conditioned. That's what I've been saying the whole time.
Okay.
So real quick, I'm gonna be real short.
Please be real quick.
Let me say it though. Just let me say it. If we know that she's been conditioned the same way we know where it comes from. What I'm saying is, and our numbers are so short, there really is no way to wake her up if we're not able as men to revolt against the man that conditioned her. There's no way of fixing it.
And there's no way for you to revolt.
That's okay. I'm done with it then. I got you.
And if black women want things to change, they have to change. If not, guess what? Get ready to be people of color.
Right.
Because the young millennials and the Z's and alphas are tired. This is not working for them. They're going to go in an opposite direction. They already are. And if the black women want to be left behind, because the white men are not going to marry them in large numbers. They never have.
Right.
They're going to get left behind. If that's what they want, fine. So be it.
And we know in history and in war, they always sought to take control of the people they were at war with, women. The men that they want to take control of their women. They took control of our women. They control the minds of our women.
They have never been our women.
That's what but that's the whole point of what I was saying. We lost.
No. We're saying.
You expect? Hold on, let me just say
George.
I was trying to say my point. You cut me off.
You keep cutting me off, George.
You cut me off.
George, I left for 10 minutes.
You did. you just cut me
kept talking, and every time I bring up a point, guess what you do?
I didn't cut you off the last couple of times. I was listening to you.
No, you cut me off. When you disagree, guess what you do?
I'm listening now. I just wanted to make a point.
You cut me off to make a point. Make your point.
But how can we expect?
Make it short.
I am. Let me say it. Based off of your argument and some of the guys in the chat room, how can you expect loyalty from a woman that you say never belonged to you?
You can't.
No. Okay.
So then that means you need to do something independently. That's what the manosphere, the black manosphere, is all about, doing something independently. But the thing is, to unbrainwash men that have been trained to serve women, black women especially, you have to explain to them how they do it and to break those bonds. You have to change their worldview. Because believe it or not, 90% of men think just like you. And if we keep thinking like this, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. Same thing.
I run my house. 90% of men don't think like me. I disagree with that.
You keep saying this. You keep saying that it's not about the women. And
I don't have an unruly woman that has the need to be right and control. I control my house.
Is your
that kind of woman?
Does your woman make policy?
No, she don't. I create the policy in my house.
And does your woman make policy for the broader society?
No, but you said people that think like me. I don't think like that. That's why
no. In other words, what you're saying is that we need to do something that's untenable, right? If there's no solution, because it's not about talking about women. It's not about going against women. It's not about going independent. It's not about any of that. The women have no part in that because they're controlled. They've been controlled by white supremacy. And basically, they've been conditioned. But the thing is, just like we can change our minds and break our conditioning, so can they.
Right, but just like you just said, right? You are on a crusade to teach black men to deprogram.
Yes.
Right. And what I'm saying is, we're growing up in the same house. I'm in the front room. The black woman is in the middle room. Mom and dad is in the other room. So we're all under the same mental constraints. So basically what I'm getting from you is what you're saying is, we basically just have to get away from our women. We have to wake up, because we can't wake up our women. We just got to leave them alone, leave them where they be. They belong to the white man. And all but so many words, and we just narrow it down.
You're gonna okay. This is you want a solution. You want a goddamn solution. I'm gonna give it to you, right? Who are your politicians? Who's your school board? 80% of them.
White women. On the school, it's the school, the teachers, and all that kind of stuff.
In black communities, 80% of our politicians who are supposed to be the black community, who are they?
In black communities,
yeah, 4 out of 5 office holders or what? Black women, right?
Okay.
They're the ones that make policy. 3/4 of your elite professors that teach in college, who are they?
I got you.
90% of your black school teachers, who are they?
90% of school teachers in black schools are white women.
90% of your black school teachers, I'll say it again, are who?
Oh, okay, I got you. You said, black women. Gotcha.
Black women, right? Okay, basically, if you know anything about the Prussian school system and the school system period, who shapes the minds?
Women. Those women do, right?
Those women do.
But where you're going with the argument, it's going to go right back. It's going to go right back.
No, you haven't finished the argument.
Go ahead.
You want to hear the argument or not?
No, I'm listening to the argument. I know where you're going. I'm listening.
No, well, where am I going if you don't know where I'm going?
You're basically saying that our women is shaping the minds of our children.
Yeah, but so in other words, guess what? If you're going to protest, you want to change stuff, right? Especially in the black community and the people that are actually in positions of power and running the things. Who do you have to go to first?
You're saying we got to go to the women.
You got to go to the women. You got to get the women to get on board, and whether it's berate them, shame them, sue them, to actually do right by their own people and their own men, especially, right? In Detroit, when they wanted to set up the first male all boys school, right? Because they want to solve the problem in Detroit with the crack cocaine, with the gangbang and all that kind of stuff. The white people in the school board actually went for it. Guess who sued them?
Can I? And I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Why you think in America? Let me rephrase the question I'm gonna ask, because I don't want to put my grandfather and all them in it, because they didn't fall. A lot of them didn't fall under this. Why do you think, for the most part, black men today don't seek power? Like, black men got their own brains; they can see what's going on. Why don't black men seek collective power? That was my question.
If they do, they always have. They still do. But guess who shapes the worldview of all the boys and the girls, not just the girls, but boys and the girls. Guess who shapes
the system do?
And who's part of the system, especially that's black?
Well, she's bred up under
That
that.
doesn't matter. Who is it?
No, she's bred the same way you are.
It doesn't matter. Who is it?
No, both of us.
It doesn't matter. Who is
I
it?
just told you, both of us.
No, I just walked you through the whole matrix.
No, you didn't walk me. I know the matrix. I just told you. You didn't walk me through anything.
In other words, black men are at the bottom, right? They want to get off from under the bottom. Okay. The thing is, who is the first person that blocks it?
The system do not. He created the system that we're in. He created the tier system.
All right, man.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you.
Ask me one more question because I'm
I'm ready to break out too. But
I'm just done with the argument. Okay, it's gonna go around the circle. That's what you believe. I'm not trying to change your belief. You're asking me questions. Go ahead.
No, listen. It's not about what I believe. It's about we talking nigga. It is what I know.
It is what you believe.
No, it's what I know because I get.
I gave you evidence.
No, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm gonna say to all the men in the chat, regardless of what we say.
Say it to me.
Hold on, I'm gonna say it to you too. But regardless of what we say, hold on,
let me first.
Let me say what I'm saying.
All right, man.
Regardless of how much we argue, at the end of the day, the tier system that's created was not created by the black woman. That tier system was created by our oppressor, who was always historically been oppressing us. And the only way you fix these things, is fighting to change it. Men has to change it. It has to be changed by men. Wars are fought by men. Things, land and laws and different things are implemented and things are fought by men. Now, our thing as Negro people, because we've been brought here and robbed of everything, and even robbed of our own minds, there's not a one way or one size fits all as to how you do it. So I don't sit for me. I understand the conditions of our women. I'm not fully disagreeing with that. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, okay, well, this is just all the woman's fault, as if we don't play a part in this shit as well. As far as getting ourselves out of this shit, no matter how you shape it.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can be done with it. But like I said, we've had these arguments before. And like I said, I come from the conscious community too. I'm 47 years old. I've read just as much as you have. I grew up. Let me say what I'm saying. I grew up in the Black Nationalist house here in Philadelphia, taught by my father and my uncles, and I've seen all the different things. I've heard all the different arguments. I get it. I've even heard the arguments that you bring, and I don't disagree with everything. I would never come on here and say, well, I've never said one time, even in our disagreements, man, BGS don't know what the fuck he talking about. I would never say that because I agree with a lot of things that you say. I just disagree with some things that you say.
Read their literature, man. They say it out loud. Read their literature. Read the Black feminist literature. They say it out loud.
But I agree, but I also read the literatures of the white.
Read Diane Stewart's book. She just wrote it. Black Women, Black Love. She actually expresses what kind of society the Black women actually want.
Yeah, and I also read the societies that they wanted to build on how to.
Which is what has been going on. They want you to be the village concuserve. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, and in these type of conversations, I just know what I know is even this is what I'm saying, BGL.
Okay.
And part of what you're saying, why I don't always fully disagree with you. Mm-hmm. Even on the plantation, when we was going through what we was going through, Big Mama was the go-to person. That was already set psychologically in the mind hundreds of years ago, because they didn't want. We had so many different revolts from men. How do you change the psychological thought process of Black boys? You have to put the control in the hands of Big Mama and not the Nat Turners, not the Charles Desalones, not the people that will revolt. So I understand what they did, but this thing has been going on for hundreds of years, BGS.
So where do you have to put the control of the Black boys? In the hands of Black men, right? Which is what Monahan said in 1965. Mm-hmm. And guess who opposes it still today?
Well, but that's all I'm saying, because she's going to oppose it because of what I just said.
Then that's the issue. So you're going to have to take power away from her.
And the only way you can take power is going to be a fight on twofold.
No, you can take power away from her by not doing what? Cooperating.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to say in regards to what you just said. We when you go to fight against her, the system is coming because the system puts her in that position to keep you from being in power. They don't want you competing against them. So when you fight against her, you're going to have to fight against her. So you might as well take the fight to them, period.
You still have to take power away from her. That's where you start. If you don't start there, nothing's going to work. Which is what Monahan said. It was what your black male scholars say even today. It hasn't changed. They all agree. You have to take power away from her. So you have to start with her, because you can't start with the white man, can you?
No, you the first thing you got to do is as men is start with understanding legacy and duty and power. And most of us don't understand that before we even look at the woman. We don't look at women. The argument that you bring. This is all I'm gonna shut up. An argument that you
no, you're not. You're not gonna shut up.
No,
you're lying. You said that before. You're not gonna shut up. You're not gonna shut up. You're not gonna shut up.
No, I'm gonna tell you.
You're not gonna shut up.
You're used to being called the master teacher, and brothers listening. I'm just a guy. I challenge you. That's all.
The people talk to me all the time.
No, I'm challenging you. That's all. It don't got nothing to do.
You're challenging me with nothing, though. Sir.
No, but that's what you say. I disagree. It don't have nothing to do with being simping. No, I'm challenging you. I'm challenging.
Dude, can I speak? Can I speak?
I was speaking.
All right, man. You keep cutting me off.
You keep cutting me off.
Yeah, but George, you said one last thing, and then.
No, but he didn't let me finish because he didn't like what I said, so he went off into his tangent as usual.
When you finished, I said what?
Go ahead, man.
I said okay. Did not say okay after the last thing. I said okay. No. You go ahead, George. Finish, man. No,
you
go
can
ahead.
say
go ahead, George. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say what I'm saying. Until you can say all this stuff, I get it. At the end of the day, if black men are going to listen to you, to what you're saying and what you teach, it's going to have to be a consciousness of black men finally coming together and realizing what they have to do for a common goal. And most black men are far away from that. And for me, that's not just the fault of the black woman; it's the fault of the system that was set in place. Because the only people that would topple this shit or gain power would be us, because we're the fighters. So in order for you to implement even what you're teaching, it will have to be a collective consciousness of black men. And regardless of whether we come in here in spaces and listen, we don't have a collective consciousness in action. So I'm done. I ain't got nothing else to say. I mean, I know this is your space where they follow you. I respect you. I listen to a lot of stuff you say, but I'm gonna challenge what you say. And just because I challenge what you say, don't mean that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But the only way we do grow is if we do have these conversations as men.
George, if you don't mind, if I can ask you, have you been to the continent?
To Africa? No, not yet.
All right. They do have matriarchs over there as well. You know that, right?
I live in Philadelphia. I've heard it. I've heard many Africans talk about it. Yes.
Right, but nothing like what you see here.
Mm-hmm.
They have a functional society over there.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Okay. Let me ask you this. I'm not because if I ask you this, you guys gonna go on for like 3 or 4 minutes.
No,
okay?
I'm not, man.
Yes, you will. You have. Okay. It doesn't take that many people to change policy. Okay. It takes the top maybe 1 or 2% actually change policy. Okay, in the United States, and your gateholders, your policymakers are at the top, not the bottom 99%. Okay, if you get to them, put pressure on them, they can actually start changing your policy. It doesn't have to be a broad-based black men understanding anything. All it takes is a group of men with the right information to actually start to implement those actually design those policies, actually start implementing, put pressure on people to actually implement the policies. We did it with the continent. The continent, it wasn't that many people over here that actually start changing policy for a whole continent. It doesn't take 90% of the people. It doesn't take black men learning their place and coming together and all that kind of stuff. It never has, okay? The stuff on the books, the political pressure, political and social pressure on the elites will start to change policy. It always has. Okay, so if you're waiting for black men that have never really come together to actually do anything, even civil rights, it wasn't 99% of the people. It was maybe like 10 or 15% of people that actually changed the policy. Okay, always has been that way. So black men don't now have to lead to come together and learn how to work together, all that kind of stuff to actually start to change policy. You can do that by changing the school board. You can do that by filing lawsuits. You can do that by putting pressure on the women that sit on that school board that will block that stuff. That's what it takes. It doesn't take that many people.
No,
Which is what Go ahead, man. All right, man. Go ahead.
I just want to say, brother, truth be told, 47 years, 16 years married.
Did you 16 years married.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I'm saying something to somebody in the chat.
I know, but it said, did you have to interrupt me to say something to the chat?
I
because you get on me all the
time. I interrupted you. I'll take that. I apologize. I'm wrong.
Okay, man. You know what? It's that is the reason. That is the reason why I have, in my opinion, I have PhDs here, because we cannot breach.
You're not.
Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You didn't let me finish what I was saying.
Because after I
cut
you off, you gonna say that's the reason why I have PhDs here. Come on,
no, George. Did you listen to what I said, or did you cut me off before I finished saying it?
No, but you're gonna use that in that term. Come on, man. Let's keep it. I respect you, man. Let's keep it.
Can I finish what I'm saying before you disagree with it?
Go ahead.
I brought the PhDs over on this side of the wall because we cannot breach the other side. They're already over there. Okay, they're with the people that change policy. The policy goes from the academics to the politicians, and then down to the rest of the people. That's the way it works. We're not on that side. We need people on the other side of the wall. We need spooks on the other side of the door. That's what I was saying. What do you disagree with now?
No. I just, the way that you was wording things after I cut you off.
What do you disagree with that I finished?
No, I don't listen. That's the pro-black talk. I don't disagree with that. I was taught that since I was a kid. What you saying is what I know.
So why did you cut me off before I finished?
I cut you off because of where you were starting when we was going back and forth.
And in other words,
I apologize. I said I apologize.
Okay, George. All right, George.
But let me say something now. Let me say something.
I thought you were done, but go ahead.
No, I'm not done. Let me say something.
I knew you weren't done. What did I say?
But just because, see, this is my issue that I have, right? Here I am, a 47-year-old grown man, right? I'm successfully married. I ain't in prison. I raise my children, raise my grandchildren. I'm a 6-figure earner. I own multiple properties. I got programs set in place. I show myself, my family, my work. I'm a productive black man in society. Because I disagree with BGS on a certain point, we shouldn't be disrespecting each other. We just disagree. I respect BGS. We going back and forth right now, but a lot of times when I get stuff, BGS, tell you I email BGS a lot of things just to ask his opinion on certain things. I just disagree with him on certain things. But I respect BGS's mind. BGS will tell you I always email BGS. So my thing is, just because we disagree, we got to stop disrespecting each other, man, on certain things. Not one time have you seen that I've said anything disrespectful to my brother. I'm just disagreeing with him. So y'all don't disrespect me. Like it's stupid to do that. I'm still a black man. I'm done.
You got more? Is that it?
I said I was done. I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what they had to do with changing policy on the other side of the wall. I really don't.
We discussed that already. I agree. I told you I agreed with you as far as that. I don't disagree.
I don't know what the rest of that was about.
No, I was addressing some of the men in the chat that say that they they upstanding men and all this kind of stuff. But as soon as the men disagree, they turn back to niggas. Like they don't like the Pookies and Ray Rays, but as soon as you disagree with them, they nigga come out. That's what I was addressing.
So I don't know. If you got a better plan, man, go ahead and show it. And what's the time frame of it working?
Well, I don't think that. I think it's been many plans as to how things should be done. And you know, way before we got here, and a lot of them haven't worked. So I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say that I got the plan or you even got the plan. I don't think that neither one of us got a full. We got ideas. We got ideas.
I have the plan. But
Okay.
it is what it is. Okay, I got the plan.
Yeah, we got
That's
ideas.
why I'm putting into action. I got the plan. I got the plan. The thing is, are black thing is, are you willing to go along with it? Because you guys want to oppose it. But if you guys want to oppose it, that's fine. Okay, it is what it is.
No, I think that when men sit down and talk about certain things, we do poke at men do a lot of times, and especially in behind closed doors, before we come out with a full plan to implement. We do sit back and argue and fight and go amongst different things, fine tune it to see which way we go. And as men, we've been divided in a lot of different ways, so it's not always just that we just going to just get right on board right away with everything. So I think that there's always room for conversation. And like I said, I don't disagree with everything you say, but some things I do disagree with, and that's why we talk about it.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I listen to your disagreement, and most of your disagreement goes back to going back to the old status quo.
Yeah. And what's the brother?
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, what's the brother's name that's on the thing?
Mike.
And Mike, the question that you asked a couple minutes ago, when you're dealing with Africans, a lot of Africans still have their intact language and culture that dictates how they treat each other. We don't have none of that. Like all of that's been wiped out. So like we don't even, a lot of us men as a people, we don't even know how to address each other. So that's just, I don't compare us to like the continental Africans coming over from the continent. Like we're different.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything of that nature. I was just asking whether or not you've been over there and what's your interactions with them.
No. Yeah. Well, I do videos on my channel with a lot of Africans here. I work out every day. I work out with a couple Africans, but I actually doing videos and I'm giving them to O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's putting them up on his King Conda channel. Because here in Philly, we have a lot of Africans. So I talk to Africans like every day, and I always ask questions. How, you know, what's going on the ground there as opposed to here. We get, you know, like I said, but I've never been there.
You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah,
I can't challenge that because I've never been there. I can't. I don't have nothing to say about that.
It will behoove you to go. Yeah,
it will change your outlook if you go.
Yeah.
Even for 2 weeks, it'll change your outlook because you actually see for yourself.
You know what's crazy? My partner on my program, my Urban Nurse program, he in Senegal right now. He just left 2 days ago. He's there now. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Now, I just think if you went, you would have a different perspective than what you're challenging BGS on.
I mean, there's a reason I study geopolitics and how systems actually work. It's the reason I've been doing it for the last 35 years. Okay, there's a reason I talk to people that are higher up than me to see if I'm on board, right? Actually accurate. Okay, I'm giving you the game from a systemic a vantage point.
And sorry about that, fellas.
Go ahead.
My battery died.
Okay.
So I had to go find somewhere where I can. Okay, go ahead. Continue.
And the thing is that and everything that you say about the women being controlled, about in fact, I'm one of the few people that actually dug that out. That's actually hidden. Okay, about us being bred here. Okay, how many people actually said that before I actually mentioned it here in this space and actually documented it?
No, they're not going to say it in these spaces. You brought it to this space because.
In other words, man, I have done years and years and years and years in this vein. Okay, we've tried a whole bunch of other things, right? And this is the conclusion after distilling everything of 35 years of trying all kinds of different things. I distilled everything, and basically that's why I talk to the people that set policy to see exactly what the problem is. Actually distill it, actually identify, this is the first step. This is where we have to set our feet and actually forge ahead and actually eliminate that block. Once we do that, then we actually go on to other things, because there's something in our way. You can't jump over the you can't go to the fifth wall before you go to the first wall. The first wall is whom? But if nobody wants to address that, that's how come it never goes any further. Nobody wants to address it. If we don't want to address that, then the game is over.
Now,
Because if I don't want to address that, we're done. Okay, we're done.
I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I've been saying, what I always say is, I get that part of the argument. I get it. I told you this 3 years ago. I get that part of the argument. What I'm saying is, even when you go to fix that problem or correct it, if you already know that she's in, because we've been bred here and she's conditioned to be incentivized by him, when you do go to take power back from him, you're gonna end up fighting him anyway.
But that is the first step.
I got you. I got you.
But you don't want that to be the first step. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You want us to skip step 1 and go to step 5.
Well, I don't. I think that we both reckon, coming from the pro-black sides and stuff like that, we both recognize what the problem is. I just think that what we disagree with, where do we first implement the fight? And
Okay.
but that's why I'm saying, like, I'm with you on. I know that you know who the culprit is. You've told me, but I just, I got you. I ain't, but I do more. I'm listening. Like I said, I'm listening. I'm listening to all sides. I have from my studies and my opinion and my teachings, the way I see it, and but I'm also listening. I'm listening. I have the ability to, regardless if I push back, I still listen to people outside of the way I think.
You know why I build a reputation of being accurate is because when I say something, it holds weight. Okay, I have a reputation for being accurate. Even on here, I have a reputation for being accurate for 7 years. Go back and look.
Well, the accuracy comes from us saying something and you be able to go back and backtrack it to see it's fact.
I say it well ahead of time. In fact, the UBI, I said it 6 years ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mike can verify this. I have been accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And I have how many, 2,000, 3,000 videos to back it up on the public record. Putting my ass on the line. People saying I'm full of shit.
Well, I say you ask these questions, which tells me you haven't read Dr. John Henry Clark. Well, if you read Dr. John Henry Clark and you listen to some of these talking points, I could tell most of y'all haven't read Dr. John Henry Clark. And a lot of stuff that BGS talks about and comes with it, the way he's able to dazzle y'all, because he's read the Dr. John Henry Clarks and most of these different things. So he brings those talking points to the side.
How am I dazzling them?
No, because I'm listening, because people are saying that as if I don't know what I'm talking about.
Why do you think? Let me
just finish my point.
Okay.
I've been talking for 30 seconds. What I'm saying is, I understand the stuff that you say when you say it, and the talking points that you use, because I know where you're coming from when you say it. So what I'm saying, but that's why I always, regardless of how people was coming at the Manosphere, out of a lot of people, I always respected you, because I knew where you were going. I might not always agree with the way you implement it, but I knew what you were saying and where you were going. So no, I'm well read up on a lot of that stuff too. I suggest that a lot of you guys go read up on it.
The reason that I don't dazzle anybody. I never had. In fact, most of the people, if you actually listen to my subs, they disagree with me for the first 2 years. I don't dazzle anybody. My track record speaks for itself. That's what speaks, not my words. My track record.
Well, let me read this super chat real quick before I lose reception. Oliver the Gray, appreciate it. Yeah. My question: have you had long interactions with the young black youth of today in America? And if so, what's the feedback you receive? Who is that towards?
Is it when you say black? You say black youth? Most of the black males, okay. And the thing is that if you read Tommy Curry's book, if you read basically Frazier's book, read the Monahan Report, read the what's his name, Clark's book, right? Black Ghetto. They all say the same things, right? Basically, black men have been in a box for like 150 years, right? Because socially, economically, whatever, right? They've been in a box, and so In that box, black women actually like that because they don't have to compete for their men. Okay, what happens when the box is lifted over a period of time? Okay, now black women have to compete for their men, and the black women's track record over the past 60 years toward their men is not good. It's not good. I mean, we don't have to go back and forth because we've been documented that their track record toward their men for the past 15 years. We don't have to go through that, right? So what's happening, especially with the youth, with the under 25 crowd, they're choosing a different direction.
Right.
And
Yep.
guess who's encouraging the different direction? White supremacy, because they want you to mix. So if the dominant society wants you to mix, if the global society wants you to mix, and
Especially at low birth rates.
the other females want them to mix, and the black women don't want to compete, guess what's going to happen?
Can I ask you a question, BGS? Why does the dominant society want us to mix?
Low birth rate.
No, not low birth rate. Okay. How do you get rid of a troubled population? I actually talked about this like 15 times. If you have a troubled population, how do you get rid of it? There's 3 ways. How do you get rid of it?
Either you get rid of them, assimilate them, or kill them.
You either you do what?
Send them back to Africa, assimilate them,
either export them, which they tried, right?
Yep.
Since 1790, they tried to export.
I watch you. See, I said
George.
I'm sorry, I had to cut you off, but I wanted to remind you that I know.
George.
I did that this time. Go ahead.
George.
You gotta stop.
He's the first one that will say I interrupt him, right?
No, I did that on purpose that time, though.
Hey,
I want you to know that I knew I've heard you say that before. That's all.
BGS, I'm gonna make you laugh real quick.
Yes, sir.
Ice skates.
He's laughing at my
ice skate. All I gotta do is say ice skates.
Okay, I know what you're talking about, man. Okay. Okay, the 3 ways to do it is what? Export them, which they already tried, right? Okay. The second one is what? Kill them, right? They tried that in Germany, right? Which is Eisenhower refused to do. Is exterminate them, right? They partially did it with the Native Americans. They had 75 million when they first got it. Actually exterminated most of them, right? What's the third way? Assimilate them, which takes the most time to assimilate them. How long does it take to assimilate a population? The admixed population, about 200 years, right? Okay, so they didn't want to take that long. They had a forced integration policy. White people didn't like it. Black people didn't like it. It's forced by the state. Okay, so we had the shortest time you actually do it is what, 7 generations, right? So you start with the boomers, you go to the Xers, go to the millennials, and the Z's will actually is the middle. They determine which direction the black community is going to go. Guess what? Which direction they're actually going to go? Toward a solid pro-black community, or the other way? Which way are they going? Which way are they going? Anybody? Bueller?
They're going towards who treats them the best.
In other words, they're going to mix because black women are stomped down that we don't have to do right by our men, or fix our men, or educate our boys, or treat them like with the respect that everybody else is treating them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you blame them from going to other women?
You're supposed to. You're not supposed to stay and take abuse.
In other words, if you get in a better deal from someplace else, you blame them. Basically, this talk about black women and black men and tussle is a boomer and Gen X problem for the most part, because the Z's don't see what the issue is. They really don't. The younger millennials and the Z's do not see what the issue is. Why should I stick with a black woman? She doesn't treat me well. I should treat with the woman that's best for me. That's what they believe in. So if the black women do not change, if the black women do not make a reversal, start educating their boys like they're supposed to, start treating their men like they're supposed to, start helping their men like they're supposed to, guess what's going to happen? It's not rocket science. I don't often say that because I don't want to discourage hope that the black community can be fixed. So I don't say it very often. But I've known this for the last 10 years. It is what it is. Okay, you're gonna be absorbed. You look at the commercials, look at the TV shows, look at the ads, look at what's going on with the cartoons, look what they teach in school. Are they teaching a separation or inclusion?
The inclusion, it's been like that for a long time. Though that was already.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. When have you seen little white girls carrying around Black Lives Matters posters?
No, but you've been seeing certain things being implemented for like the last 10 years or so. They've been bringing it along slow.
Okay, when have you seen black women, white women carry around posters protesting the death of a black man?
No, that's something new, but
that's nothing new.
Yes,
that's an indicator of what's foretelling of things to come.
Yeah.
If black women have to get their shit together. If they don't, guess what? It's over. Okay.
I have to ask,
and they have the power. Go ahead.
I have to ask them this question. Like, what's your name, brother?
That's George.
My name's George. What's up,
George? Do you think black women are competitive?
Well, I think black women are competitive.
Yeah.
For their men. That's what he's saying. In dating.
You're saying for their men or what? Competitive what?
For their men. For their men. For dating and mating for their men.
It depends.
No.
Hold on. Yes. Whoa. I'm gonna answer the way. Don't tell me how to answer.
No. I'm gonna tell you how to answer because it's a yes or no. If they're not competitive.
I'm gonna answer. I said for the most part, no. Some of our women are, but for the most part, no.
Most for the first part.
They're not conditioned to be competitive. We covered
that.
Thank
you.
No, we talked already though. So he come late. We already did that. We passed that.
So why is there still an argument?
No, there's not an once BGS agreed and what he said that our women was bred here, and we know that they belong to somebody else. We already know that. Like, don't take rocket science. So what I said was my ultimate argument was at the end of the day, it's going to be up to us to change our situation. With me and BGS disagree with is BGS is saying that the black woman has to change, and I'm telling BGS no. For the most part, she's not going to change because the majority of her belongs to another nation.
So in other words, so what happens when black men start dating out and start going to other populations?
We're bred out, but that was all designed though. That was the design. We're bred out.
Of course it was.
Of course, but BGS. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So in other words, do you go along with the design or fight the design?
You say I didn't hear you.
Do you go along with the design or fight it?
Man, listen.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I would say you fight it.
Okay, how do you fight it?
You can't fight it by going out because you're still breathing yourself out. The game, they checkmated it.
In other words, so if the boys want a better deal, who has to give them a better deal?
If the boys want a better deal, the boys have to give themselves a better deal.
No, they.
So wait a minute. How you talking about women?
What you say, BGS?
As far as dating and mating, who gives them the better deal?
You're not going to get it dating out because you're breathing yourself out.
In other words, this is how a lot of them young men think. Especially you'll see it more over the West Coast and East Coast, but it's starting to gain traction. They're like, I don't give a fuck if I'm bred out. Why am I going to suffer with an insufferable person? Would that make sense to any human being?
And before you answer that, appreciate you, Charles, for the super chat. Says there's always someone trying to skate skating uphill. Woo! And then there's another brother, George Harold. Appreciate the super chat. It says I've seen Tommy Curry break down how black men are shitty weak, patriarchs to black feminists. They disagree. Play dumb or say they're womanist. Ida B. Wells warned us about
suffragettes.
Suffragettes. I never heard that word. But
the suffragettes actually women that actually campaign for the vote. in 1920.
Okay, suffragettes. But 100 years later, we get Gloria Steinem.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I actually did a video about that.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 videos about that. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, but that's. I mean, George, you understand what they're. George, he's still there.
he's still there.
You understand it. I mean, I think because they're saying the better deal. Are they seeking? I mean, should they seek a better deal as far as treatment and relationship, or should they procreate with someone that don't want respect them,
No,
or even want to be with them?
I heard the argument, but based off of me and BGS interactions, even when you seek a better deal, and BGS can't go against me when I'm saying this part, even when you seek a better deal based off of what he teaches, going outside your race for a better deal, you're still killing, you're still destroying yourself, you're still wiping yourself out. Basically, that's what they want. So what is the better deal? That's
why stay. So let me put it to you this way: would you go to war with a faulty weapon?
No, I wouldn't. But I'm going based off the argument.
Well, no. So you're telling me that you would tell your son to be with a woman who doesn't trust him, who disrespects him, and mistreats him?
No, I wouldn't. But that's not all black women, so no.
But it's a large majority.
There's a lot that's not too.
It's a larger majority that is.
Well, it's a whole lot that's not. So
it's not a whole lot that's not. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have these channels. If it was not, no, it's not really for me. But if you're telling me right now, if most of these channels and the black, hold on. If you're telling me that most of these men who come on these channels or created channels, you're telling me they're lying.
First of all, because I disagree with what you're saying, that has nothing to do with me saying.
No, that has a lot. That has a lot to do with it.
All right,
that has a lot to do with it. Because number one, you're doing the same thing that women are doing, and saying "fuck your experience." Fuck all these guys' experience. Because right now, if you could go from Baltimore, DC, Virginia, LA, New York, Miami, Houston, Austin, all over this goddamn country, and if black men come with pretty much almost the same five issues that they have with their women.
But that's not all black men though, and that's the
But space, that's the majority of black men.
No, it don't. This space don't.
But that's the majority of black men. But that's the majority. That's the majority. No.
Hold on. What percentage of black men actually married, George?
No, it's about 20%.
That's 30%.
So you're telling me. So you telling me if we went? So why did we go from? So why the hell did we go from 80? How did we go from 1890 to 1980? 80% of marriage, and now only what 20-30% of us are married?
It go back to what me and BGS was saying in the argument, back and forth. BGS, let me ask you this question though.
Okay.
Because based off of what you said, do you based off of what you teach?
Okay.
Not us going out to date out. Because I've heard you say this. Is that still an answer? Because we still breeding ourselves out.
Can I? If you allow me, I'll answer you.
I'm shutting up and listen. I'm shutting up.
In other words, what you're asking black men to continually do is actually fall on their sword. Okay, you've been falling on your sword for 150 years. Black men are tired of falling on this sword. I don't blame the young guys. Okay, you've been getting bad treatment for 150 years. It's time for a change. I don't blame them. I wouldn't take. Why should they continue taking bad treatment from their women? Race loyalty? What do they get for that? What have they gotten for that?
And then guess what? They're not showing you as much race loyalty when you look at the birth charts.
I'm gonna ask George. Why should they keep falling on this sword?
I don't believe that they're falling on the sword. That's the thought process. But even with that question, what makes? Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, BGS. Let me ask you this question. Us going out to get these other women, because these other women are better than our women, right? These other women of other races, right?
They train differently, so
right.
They treat you better.
So let me finish asking the question. So if these women are trained differently, what type of men do these women come from?
It doesn't matter.
Oh my goodness! All right.
It doesn't matter. When you take two products, right? Okay, one's better than the other. Do you actually worry about the process, or does the process matter when one's better than the other? Does the
No,
process matter?
the way the woman is raised up, she's coming from a structured place that's formulating the way she behaves. BGS.
When you have two competing products, one's better than the other, does it matter about the process, or do you take the better product? Which one do you do?
I don't. I'm not going along with that. I judge a woman by the type of men she comes from. That good woman with the structure that she's coming from.
But do you speak for the majority of the young
Most of the young people are not well read or understanding. They going by
it doesn't matter.
They going by the societal experience. That don't mean that they understand why it's happening.
It don't have to. Basically, they choose the better treatment. Do you blame them?
So no, you telling me? So you telling me I should be with somebody? I should any young man. You could just right there with a straight face and tell them to be with a loud, obnoxious woman.
I didn't tell anybody.
No. So even if it's just some race loyalty, which a lot of these women don't have. Sorry, the only reason they date you is because you're the easiest and you're the trash man of the dating world.
That's the way you see it.
That's the way it is.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm more conversation based.
But here's the point. Here's the point. You put it as dangerous as you can do with interracial dating. Think of how pathetic your women are if you'd rather go out to the wilderness to find a woman than to go next door. That says a lot about your women, doesn't it already?
No, because it's more. It's not just no. Because if you just that it says about.
Let George finish. Hold on, let me Complex get in. Complex wants to get in.
Okay.
So you can get in.
Yeah, because I'm actually the conversation is way past what I came in on. I was going to talk about the conversation you guys were on Africa, but this is kind of past me. But I had something on the brain. This in terms of this notion of breeding oneself out. George, if a man doesn't have any children throughout his lifetime, did he breed himself out?
Listen, that's if a man doesn't have any children, he's not passing along a legacy. So
did he breed himself out? That's the question.
He don't have no children, so
did he breed himself out?
Everything with him stops and stays there. He's done.
Did he breed himself out? Yes or no?
You just heard what I just said.
Okay. Yes or no, man?
He's not gonna give you
what I said, man.
He's not gonna give you yes or no.
Okay, so the answer would obviously here be no. He just simply didn't reproduce. And if a man does have children, he didn't breed himself out. He actually bred.
Well,
the notion of breeding oneself out.
George, let him finish.
Yeah, I do. I've listened.
I ain't really interested in having conversations with you.
Well, no, you literally just said this, so
it doesn't have nothing to do with
I want to put a point on the record.
All right.
But I don't need you to interrupt me because I didn't interrupt you. I literally sat here quiet as a
all right.
BGS's argument.
Now, okay. You know what? Since I started.
Okay. Well, like I said, BGS, it's no worries. I'm going to drop off because this is way past the point I wanted to come on. But this notion of telling black men that they're going to breed themselves out just because they decide to go and pair up with a woman.
That's not what I was saying. Again, see, that's why I didn't want to have the conversation. That's not what was being said. That's not what was being said, dude. See, that's what I'm saying.
Basically.
No, I asked you to clarify.
No, that's not what was being said. The conversation was based off of what me and BGS was saying about black people. And BGS's argument was always, if you listen, his argument was always that even if we go to other races, because he didn't teach dating out BGS. So his argument was even when we go that way, we bred ourselves out. So that's what I was talking about. I wasn't telling nobody to go date who you want to date. It was based off the conversations that me and BGS has had in the past and what he teaches. So if you're going to say, I'm not saying you go date who the hell you want to date. My argument was based off of what he taught. That's all I was saying. I wasn't telling you, so I don't want you coming up here saying that to me.
It was just the notion of breeding oneself out.
But don't bring that to me. That's not my argument.
But that's not my argument. You're not breeding yourself out because number one, this is what happens because we do a lot of dick policing in the black community. Because number one, you gotta try to convince dudes to still take this treatment, which anybody with any goddamn common sense will tell you bullshit. And I'm happy for younger guys saying bullshit. Claim your value. Get the best woman that's for you, whether she's black or she's not. And right now, black women think they got the Olympic gold medal, haven't practiced, haven't trained, and getting beat out. And it's not anybody's fault but their own.
Well, I'll say this to y'all master teacher, right? Your master teacher always taught about us being together, and the way we can fix it is either go back to Africa or take back control.
Number one, you're not going to go back to Africa in an established country, and you're an American.
No, but let me finish what I'm saying.
He's never taught that.
Oh, that's a lie. I got.
Because guess what? He says he even said it. He even said it. The only way you're going to get it together. See, you got to realize if black men already got their shit together, and black women don't want to do it, then guess what? You force black men's hand.
I don't know how long you've been in these spaces, but
I've been in here a long time.
Right. And this is what I'm saying, because I'm not making up nothing. I don't lie. This is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying.
But you believe things. But yeah, you can't give us a yes or no. You don't give us you give us your belief.
No,
but yet
I don't have
you said believe several times.
I have over 6 years where people can go to my George Macon 1, 2, or Experience channel, and I got just as well as BGS got literature. I have it too. BGS comes from the pro-black side the same way I do. What this is all I'm saying. In conversations with
that's why.
Hold on. In conversations with my brother, in conversations with BGS, we went back and forth and talked about how do we fix it. BGS never advocated for us going outside of our race. So what I said was in the context of this conversation was BGS, based off of what you teach, if we go outside of our race, we're breeding ourselves out. That's where that come from. I know a lot of y'all got antsy when y'all heard that, but I don't give a damn who you date. And that was in the context of a conversation with BGS and where he teaches. That's the only
what? If you give, guess what? If that's the best option, that's the best option for black men.
But I'm not telling you what you should.
But at the same time, I notice a lot of black guys are never gonna say this shit to black women.
You don't date black women, so why you care? Exactly. Don't worry about it. We got this over here. You don't date them.
Assumptions, right? You're making assumptions having that ass, right?
You just said what?
Guess what? Man, guess what? Guess what? Everything. Please.
Yeah.
Why you think I can speak about it? Now, see, that's the fucked up part about it. You got these hotep motherfuckers trying to convince you to date. Oh, well, we're gonna be bred out. These bitches are having babies by everybody else. What only 53 to 54% of your men are not even having children or getting married. The lunacy and all these motherfuckers talking this shit. But then I bet you number one, he ain't gonna go in front of no black women saying this shit. But you can always browbeat the men to get back in order. That's some slavery shit if I never heard any. We don't big black women. How the fuck you think I know? But once again, you can't like Complex. Can I teach you how to fucking build a go-kart or a racing vehicle?
If you know how to.
But guess what? When you do your specialty, do I come over there and piss on you?
No.
But it's amazing how you talk to young men and they're just saying, we're not going to deal with that shit. See, a black man doesn't have any goddamn rights. A black woman has to adhere to. And you know what it is? They exercise their option of indifference.